Hello everyone, I'm Vladas and I'll bring you here the Shell Part 2 Purgatorio for PC. So, the game is developed by Innocent Grey and published by Shirafun. The game came out today. It's the continuation, the sequel from the first one that I played. Of course, it's a visual novel. It takes these ones takes more time than the other games that Shirafun already published. So, it will take I don't know how many hours to even beat the first one. So but of course I will play the second one. Also, it comes out. I think it's 3 parts. It's at least what people say about on Steam forums is that it's 3 parts. So I wonder when the third part comes out. Probably next year, because like was last year the first part, second part is this year. I wonder how much time it takes them to translate and then to bring. I wonder. So, but yeah, if you like visual novels, of course, probably gonna enjoy this one. Of course, if you already know about it, because this is an old game, but I think it's like remastered. And of course, then if you want to play the full content of the game, like any Shirafun games, you need to go to their website, click the game that you want, and then like on the right side of the game, there is like Get on Steam, that is the censored version, and then there is like Get on Shoren, and in there you download the patch for free, apply it to the game on Steam, and you get the uncensored version of it, the full content. So, I don't even know if you like, yeah, I don't even have the saves in here. I don't even know if you can like load from the part one or not. So, but start. I don't even know if you could do that or not in this. The penitent sinner wandered in pursuit of a lone star. But when his travels brought him no closer to the path of heaven, he inquired the star of its whereabouts, to which the star answered, "Those fettered to the earth by human rationale shall never rise into heaven." The excommunicate. Perfazione. 1957, November 10. Do I need to click? It looks like. Yukiku Kaihara had been staring a hole into her wall for what would felt like hours on end. At the end of her line of sight hung a fresh uniform for one of Oba Girls' Academy. Tomorrow she'll don those garments for the very first time and start life at her brand new school. Up until just recently, Yukiku had been attending another school altogether. However, she'll suddenly transfer out, and for good reason too. A rather brutal trash had taken the school by storm not too long ago. To be more specific, one of their students had fallen to her death of a train overpass. While most normally would have chalked it up as an unfortunate but ultimately mundane accident, the problem was that Yukiku had strong ties to the accident. Rumors had started flying around after the girl's funeral that Yukiku was to blame for her death, all because the two of them had simply happened to be together that day. But while the rumors held no water, there was nothing Yukiku could do other than suffer their slings and arrows as they would spread like wildfire. "I didn't do anything." Those words escaped Yukiku's lips. She wanted to say them loud and proud to everyone, but that assertion had always died before it was ever so much as a quiver in her throat. And that was why she left that school without standing up for herself even once. In the aftermath, Yuki had considered job hunting. However, while an idea nobly fueled by the knowledge she and her mother weren't particularly well off, the latter had been against that prospect. She'll say she wanted Yukiko to get the proper education fate's whims had denied her. Thus, she suggested out a transfer to Opus Girls Academy instead. After all, not only was it close to home, but Yukiko would not have to get anywhere near a train that way. Though Yukiko couldn't deny the adorable white uniform was also a plus. Suddenly she was snapped out of her trance by the thud of a knock. "Yukiko, I'm coming in." The door opened a moment later. "Mom." Fuyimi, Yukiko's mother, stepped in. Well, checking out the new duds, are we? Yes, Yukiko Unger had a flush of embarrassment washing over her. It's just the right size, yeah, she'll be a perfect fit. I'm aware. Fuimi was actually Yukiko's foster mother. She'll adopt her after the orphanage where Yukiko was raised had closed down. But while it been quite some time since then, a part of Yukiko still didn't feel like the two of them were truly mother and daughter. Yeah. Did you want something? Fuyuimi tapped their fingers in contemplation. Well, honestly, I was worried you might be nervous. Me? Yukiko was a bit surprised. Am I wrong? I'm not sure. Yukiko shook her head. She'll be lying if she said she wasn't, but neither was she particularly inclined to discuss things with her mother. Okay, Fuyumi nodded. It's you we are talking about here, so I figure that noggin of yours might be putting one too many fears in your basket. That's not. No, maybe she's right. You are worried you won't be able to make new friends, aren't you? Yukiko had no retort for that. Her mother never failed to read her lip, like an open book, much to her constant surprise. Perhaps it was because they'll know each other for a while, even before they'll become family. Listen here, Yukiko. Fuyumi cupped Yukiko's cheeks in her hands. Huh? Friends will find their way to you so long as you strike up conversations with your heart on your sleeve. That's how you and Mia met, right? Mia was Yukiko's recent deceased friend. Was it? I don't remember too well. Yukiko shook her head. Come to think of it, how did we become friends again? Mia hadn't exactly been a social butterfly. Quite the contrary, she'll whittle away her breaks reading books in the corner of her classroom. So then, who initiated first contact, me or Mia? Unfortunately, Yukiko's mind was fuzzy on the details. I'm scared. I'm scared how it feels like I'm going to forget all about her. Alright, let's do this. Fuyumi nodded to herself and rose to her feet. Oh, do what? Showdown. Oh, sure. That mundane response left Yukiko sheepish for ever thinking her mother had been hinting at anything more. I guess all I'm trying to say is that you are gotta take a leap of faith and go for broke if you wanna make friends. Don't let that stress overheating your brain stop you. I'd rather no one break anything. But in all seriousness, I need to at least try. If she made friends before, she could do it again. She had to. I'm gonna have to lower the music a little bit. November 11. So how the fuck do I go to... I thought this will be enough, but it doesn't look like. Alright, that could be good, right? The problem is that you still can hear the characters talking. At least I can hear. Probably I can take out this. Wait, it's only two characters? No, there has to be more, but I think you need to meet them to get the character. I think it was like that on the first one. By the way, to save, you click over there, okay. Obagos became a bastion of learning Musashino since the era of westernization, educating ladies from respectable families. Yukari Tosukisaka, one of his students, briefly stopped in her tracks at school gate. She'll be taking the same route here for years now. Once the trip had been lively with the company of her friends, but nowadays... Phew. Yukari adjusted the lapels of her coat. Not only had the snow arrived earlier this year, but the wind had chilled it as well. Perhaps it's about time I get Heiji's overcoat out of the closet for him. Wait, but then Sofia Kura to her. Normally she sent said overcoat to the cleaners after checking it for smudge and fresh once he added it over to her in spring. However, she had no recollection of performing such an act within the past year, much less putting said coat away. But I thought I talked to Reiji about it. Oh, it was then she finally remembered. When they discussed the matter at home, her brother had informed her that you left the coat at his agency, and that was the last time it will come up. Unfortunately, that means the coat had just been sitting forgotten at his office in Shijuku for over half a year. She'll even gone to clean the place more times than she could begin to count, yet it will totally slip her mind. What do I do? What's eating you? Yukiri's brooding was interrupted by an ambush in the form of a familiar voice. Oh, good morning, Kohan. The derailer of her train of thought was none other than Kohan Tori, a classmate. She was one of Yukari's new friends and a relative greenhorn at their school. Paid for your thoughts, you look like your whole world's come crashing down around for you. Right, and now I need to go over here and take out the voice. Yeah. It's weird that in this game, like even if you put the voice volume, to 0, you can still hear, and you need to go over in here individual character voice and always take out when they appear. Well, it's just the code might be skin beetle for food right about now. Ew, there's a beetle that eats skin? No, I'm just worried about because skin beetle larvae might be eating my brother's coat. You've lost me. Koharu cocked her head. Plus, it will be quite the predicament if closed moths have laid the eggs that have hatched into larvae in there. Wait, there's a moth made out of clothes? Huh? The pair stare at each other quizzically. It sounds to me like we are not on the same page. Not that this was anything new for the both of them, of course. Anywho, remember what day it is, Carrie? Nor was Kohan's habit of changing the subject on a dime. What day it is? The sale at the green grocery is tomorrow, so I'll be cleaning the agency in Shinjuku this weekend. No, wait, maybe I'll do that today instead. The sooner I check on that code, the better. Carrie? I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't recall. What, you don't remember what Teach said? We'll be getting a new transfer student today. A transfer student? Oh, right. No, it was all coming back. She did recall finding it strange that they were getting a new classmate so late in the year. Not that it was illegal or anything, but it was certainly unconventional. Anyway, let's get indoors already. I'm freezing my buns off out here. Kohan raced right into the school grounds, sparing not so much as a thought for her friend lost in rumination. Typical Kohan, always marching to the beat of her own drum. Yukari simply smiled wearily and chased after Kohan like a harried mother. Before long, the pair reached their classroom. Yukari sat her back down on her desk in the back, only to notice a new desk right behind her. That must be for the transfer student. Yukari had to admit she felt a bit nervous. She wasn't exactly the life of the party, so she tended to be awkward around new people. What do I say to her? Should I ask where she's from, perhaps? Yukari took her seat as those concerns filtered about her mind. The class was actually noisy for a change. Clearly, the prospect of a new schoolmate had them all abuzz with speculations and anticipation. Oh, guess she's gonna be sitting behind you, huh, Kari? Kohan trotted over to Ikari. It certainly looks that way. Wonder what she's like. Sure hope she's interesting. Oh, and how will you define interesting exactly? Like a brother with a dark and tragic past or maybe a girl who talks to aliens? Somehow I doubt that's what most people will consider interesting. Kohan was a major bookworm, especially when it came to the fantasy and sci-fi. Hence why she frequently said all kinds of wacky stuff. Yukari couldn't help but be reminded of her old friend whenever she spoke. Oops, sounds like the teacher's here. Kohan hastily retreated to her own desk. A moment later, the teacher opened the door and marched right in. She'll come alone. The rest of the class couldn't disguise their disappointment. Stand, bow, be seated. Under the direction of the class representative, the students went through the standard morning procedure. As you are all aware, a new student will be joining our class today. No sooner had she said that than was the class astir with excited whispers, all eyes trained on the door. That went for Yukari's too, naturally. You can come in now, Miss Kayahara. The door slowly opened at teacher's bidding. The class fell silent again, everyone was watching with bated breath. Oh, Kohan gasped was awfully loud. Standing in the doorway was a girl with a long ponytail, clad in pastel white uniform of Oba Girls Academy. A quiet hula balu danced through the classroom. Oh my god. The transfer student picked up a piece of chalk and wrote their name on the blackboard. I'm Yukiku Kayahara. And with that, she gave a little bow. Very good. Now please, take your seat. It's the empty desk in the back. Yes, ma'am. Yukiko trudged through the maze of desks. Eventually, she passed right by Yukari. Yukari gave her a genial nod, but Yukiko plodded like she hadn't even noticed. She was probably all nerves at the moment. Once Yukiko was at her desk, Yukari turned around and stole a glance. Yukiko was hanging her head, not so much as twitching. She didn't seem to be daunted by all the stares she was getting. Though perhaps that was all on the outside, of course. Attention, bow. The homeroom teacher left the classroom once the students had finished that little ritual, and yet the handling of new student by the rest of the class witnessed so commonly across the rest of the world was nowhere to be found. Everyone was curious about Yukiko, but they still adhered to the school rules. However, since she was literally right in front of her, um, Yukari attempted to turn around, only for Kohan to suddenly march over and seize her arm. Huh? Kari, over here. Kohan dragged Yukari to the blackboard. What is it, Kohan? So, you know the new girl? Well, I think she's an old friend of mine. Really? It truly was a small world. That certainly explained why Kohan had gasped when she first saw Yukiko. Shouldn't you go say hi to her then? Yeah, you got the point. Ha, now I'm getting the willies. Kohan scratched her cheek. Hey, this isn't gonna be a solo effort, is it? No, of course not. The pair turned to Yukari's desk. Okay, so let me go over here. She doesn't have a voice. Their classmates watched their actions closely from afar. Hey, it's you, isn't it, Yukiko? Kohan ultimately took the first step. Huh? Remember me? We used to hang out all the time as kids. I'm sorry, I can't say I do. Yukiko awkwardly looked away. What? Hey, come on, it's me. You know, Kohan. I'm really sorry. She just shook her head. Oh, okay. Well, hey, it was ages ago, so maybe you're just her doppelganger or something. Kohan chuckled. However, Yukari couldn't help but think that laugh sounded rather forced. Kohan. Don't worry, Kari, I'm fine. Kohan nodded reassuringly. I'm Yukari Tokisaka. Please come to me if you ever need help with anything. Yukari mustered a smile as she introduced herself. Thank you. Yukiko reciprocated with a tiny nod. Like, I know that's that one, that Yukiko? No, Yukari. I remember her from the first one. But the other one, this new girl, Yukiko, I think is like that. I don't know if she appeared already on the first one. It's hard to remember the face after a while. Suddenly the bell rang. Even this one, Kohan, I don't remember if she appeared or not on the first one. I don't even remember. Later, Kari. Kohan fled back to her desk. Yukari also took her seat. Meanwhile, Yukiko was frozen like a statue behind her, almost as though their conversation had never even happened. Does she really not know Kohan, or is she simply pretending not to? It was times like this that Yukari really wished she had her brother's detective brain. Yeah, because the brother is the detective that you play too. Despite this being a new school, classes were conducted much the same as they were at Yukiko's previous one. Fortunately, they used the same textbooks too. Thanks to that, she caught up in no time. This school was ahead of her old one when it came to certain subjects, so there were a few things she would miss. Luckily, a little bit of studying in her spare time would likely close the gap easily. The bell rang, indicating the end of class. Yukiko heaved a profound sigh. Her classmates filed out of the room in small groups. In the end, she'll barely say a word to any of them. Some had tried talking to her, but Yukiko found herself freezing up entirely. Truth be told, she did remember Kohan, the girl who approached her that morning. Yet, Yukiko had lied about that. Okay, so she knew. Her memories of the past were hazy, so she didn't want to put the two of them in the awkward position of Kohan, bringing up shared stories that Yukiko herself didn't recall. She was of the opinion that it was better to feign ignorance than to disappoint others. However, her mother had told her she needed to take a leap of faith. Unfortunately, she got a cold feet before she could take that jump. What do I do? I guess I'll just head home. There was nothing more she could do here after all. It was with the thought in mind that she picked up her bag and rose to her feet. Excuse me. However, the girl who sat in front of her struck a conversation just as Yukiko was about to depart. She introduced herself as Yukari Tokisaka, if Yukiko recalled. What you want? Even Yukiko realized that choice of words came off far harsher than intended. But they were what will come natural to her. See, Yukiko, this is why you don't have any friends. I was just wondering what you like to do in your free time. Wait, huh? Yukiko forgot to even blink. She couldn't comprehend the question. Or rather, she didn't understand what this girl was hoping to gain from asking it. Oh, I'm sorry, I just saw that you had your nose stuck in your art book during art history, so I thought you might have an interest in art, that's all. No, not particularly. Yuki shook her head. She was lying. But if she admitted she liked it hard, that would mean more conversation, a notion that shielded her insides over. I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, be careful on your way home. And with that final exchange, Yukiko scurried past Yukari and escaped the classroom. She wanted to get away as soon as possible. The shell. Yukari dropped by art room she'll been frequenting for years now. The air was pregnant with the tang of oil paints, of canvas cloths and wooden easels. Yukari loved these scents. Though naturally she also loved the aroma of coffee at her family friend's cafe, as well as the fragrance of leaf mold in her room. Yukari took a nearby seat. Say, Kohan. Yeah? Kohan was sitting around acting like she owned the place. Why did you come by earlier than me? Cause I figured you'll drop by. Besides, I am club member, even if in name only, yeah? Heck, you are the one who made me join. True enough, I suppose. It all began when Yukari pleaded with Koan to join the club since it was on the verge of abolishment due to its lack of membership. Thought Yukari had asked several friends, Koan was the only one who answered the call of duty. That said, all she ever did was laze around. She never drew anything, not as far as Yukari knew anyway. Instead, Koan simply read books or shot the breeze with Yukari. Still, Yukari was grateful for her presence all the same. Hey, did you talk to Yukiko? Koan suddenly changed the subject. A little, yes. How you go? That's a tricky question. Yukari furrowed her brow. Not because she wasn't caught up, but rather bewildered. Her chat with Yukiko hadn't exactly gone well, after all. It all almost felt like the girl hated the very notion of talking. I'd love it if you could be friends. Unfortunately, Yukari had no idea how to break that ice. Maybe you'll need my help after all. That certainly was one tactic, however. But go on. Koana looked hurt back when Yukiko claimed she didn't remember. What if she really is just a doppelganger? I mean, Yukiko isn't exactly a unique name. Indeed, it was a rather popular name. Even the woman who almost been Yukari's sister-in-law shared that name. I know what I say, but she's the same girl, I'm sure of it. Koan nodded as if she was trying to convince herself of that just as much as Yukari. Sure, we were little kids at the time, so even some of my own memories are kind of blurred, but I want to believe she hasn't totally forgotten. I certain hope not. The older the memory, the more it faded, but that didn't mean it was completely gone. Yukari herself didn't want to forget anyone she'll ever met, since even her most painful memories were still a part of her. That said, if she were ever reminded of things, she'd rather remain under lock and key. Tell me, what kind of person was Kaya Hara anyway? How exactly is that you know her? We used to be in the same nursery. There were other kids. We used to play with all the time as well. I can tell she's changed a lot since then, but she still sticks out the same odd way she used to, if that makes any sense. Yukari did indeed know someone like that. A former member of the art club who had vanished last spring. She and Yukiko both shared a similar aura. Perhaps that was why Yukari was keen on inviting her to the club. However, they didn't make them the same person. So ultimately, what mattered most was what Yukiko herself wanted. Anyway, we haven't seen each other since that place folded. Then this is a reunion age in the making, isn't it? Yeah, Yukiko's always been the forgetful type, though, so maybe she really doesn't remember anything. She will in time, I'm sure of it, so chin up. There was no guarantee of that, of course, but Yukari wanted to reassure Kohan. After all, the thought of being forgotten must have been tearing her apart. Suddenly, the door opened, revealing a short-haired girl who was a few grades younger. Tokisaka Tori, good afternoon. Oh, why hello there, Satu. It was none other than Ayumu Sato. Wasn't this girl on the first one too? I think she was. Got practice today? Yes, thought I must admit, I hate how cold the dojo floor gets at this time of year. Alright, you practice barefoot for Kendo, don't you? Sure, it would be nice if they will at least let you wear socks. We'll be sleeping all over the place if we did. Ayumu picked up a bag stashed in the corner of the room that contained all her protective gear. Thank you for letting me keep this here. It's not trouble at all, really. This room has more space than we know what to do with anyway. That's a relief to hear. Have a good day, you two. Ayumu strolled out of the room. You know, maybe I should start using this place as a storage closet too. I don't foresee that being an issue, but what would you even keep here? My room? The night. My room? The fuck? Yukiko flopped onto her bed as soon as she got up. She then proceeded to hug her pillow. Though she knew she was wrinkling her new uniform, she didn't feel like moving at all. In the end, she failed to bring herself to take action. She hated taking leaps of faith, so she hadn't so much as bothered bending her knees. Even though Yukiko knew this path would bring her nothing but misery and loneliness, she could know nothing to change course. She'll be given a chance to talk, but had squandered all of them. Why, even the girl who sat in front of her had tried striking up a conversation at the end of the school day. Her name had been Yukari Tokisaka, if Yukiko's memory served her right. Did she ask because she was interested in me? Yukari had apparently witnessed how Yukiko had been spellbound by their art book. Yukiko liked looking at art. She liked imagining the sort of stories each drawing told. She wished to know what kind of lives the people within them lived, what emotions had inspired their inclusion, and what they will go on to do afterward. Pondering those questions brought about a different kind of enjoyment than reading books. It seemed Yukari was in the school's art club. What kind of things does she paint? This was the first time imagining what a painting was like from what she knew of of its artist, rather than the other way around. So she was having a trouble grasping the concept. Judging from how Yukari looked, Yukiko reckoned she drew pictures with thin lines. But then, what of her choice of colors? Perhaps she employed a lot of light ones? She didn't seem like the kind of person who used primary colors at least. And as for the subject of her heart, perhaps landscapes, flowers, still life? Yukiko couldn't imagine that she would ever draw something like bugs. Probably, anyway. Yukiko got up. Guess I'll get changed. Her mother probably won't be back for a little while longer, so getting started on the rice was the least she could do. After that, she'll read a book. Yukiko pulled the paperback out of her bag. She'll bought it at the bookshop near Musashi Sakai Station on her way home. The novel in question was a fairly recent one that Yukiko had been rather curious about. Isn't that a shell? Like, this was the image from the first one, the shell broken. Yeah. And the title was The Shell of Sheol. Because this was the image, like an egg broken in half. That was like the image from the first one. This one looks like it's like more butterflies. Snow danced from a sky laden with clouds. Thought the war was over and the towns at the base of the mountain had been incinerated in air rage, this place had barely changed. No, not its size nor its people. For it, Islam was still firmly rooted in traditions that had been planted lifetimes before the war. A man carrying a wicker trunk emerged from a star house. Is this like what's in the book? He entered the building guided by an empty-handed woman. The pair sat facing one another. The man set the old wicker trunk next to him. The woman held out her hand, demanding he turn it over. However, the man simply shook his head and shouted. The flames in the paper lanterns flickered. Oh my god, so intense. Meanwhile, the woman smirked and held out her other hand. This time, the man reluctantly handed the trunk over. The woman opened it, then heaved a content sigh, once she saw what lay within. On the other hand, the man furiously rose to his feet and grabbed the woman by her collar. The woman muttered something. Okay, what the fuck? The late repentant. What? Okay, probably there was something else if you have to understand in that part. I don't even know. So 1956, March 19. So this is a year back. Tomoy Tomoyuki Masaki trudged into a consultation room at the Koshiki Pathological Research Institute. Pardon me. However, the room in question was empty. Not even the doctor was anywhere to be found. This is the right place, isn't it? Left with little else to do, Masaki plopped onto the sofa and waited in tedium for someone to show up. Suddenly his eyes were drawn to a painting on the wall. It was a piece of Shinsu Mamiya. Masaki rose to his feet before he even knew what he was doing. Not often was it he got the chance to see such a famous artist's work up close. Thought his eye wasn't sharp enough to distinguish it as the real McCoy or not. He couldn't imagine such a prestigious hospital would chip out on a replica. It was a canvas decorated with bold strokes and red paint, and yet even the tiniest details were perfect to a T. Are you interested in art? Masaki turned around when he heard that voice. A nurse with tender features stood in the doorway. Well, yes, I suppose you could say that. Sadly, I've never really had an eye for it. Is this by a famous artist or something? Is their voice? It's only this one, the nurse you cannot remove. But this is a problem. I understand that it's more like I don't even know why they go back a year, probably to complete like for the story to make sense then. But like it was 1957, and now it's like 1956. Like now we go back a year. Yes, actually they are holding an exhibit on him at an art museum in Ueno right now. Well, really? He must have hit big time then. The nurse nodded, genuine amazement evident in her eyes. Where's the doctor? Oh, I'm sorry about that. He's currently busy with a visitor. Might I ask that you wait just a little longer? Sure, that's fine by me. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, by the way, my name is Mayu Kamizono. I'll be your nurse. And with that, she took her leave. Masaki sank into the sofa again once she left. Just then, he noticed a glass of what had been set on the table. Mayu must have brought it. Masaki picked up the glass and quenched his thirst. He heaved a deep breath. Thought this was his first time here. He still wasn't used to being in the hospital. And it wasn't just because of the stench of disinfectant medicine. He found the whole atmosphere overwhelming. Thought the unstable mind of his was the entire reason he was here to begin with. This was the psych ward. Over a decade had come and gone since the war, but the pain from those days had yet to vacate his heart. Are you there, Mr. Masaki? Just then the doctor stepped into the room. Oh, good afternoon, doctor. My apologies for the delay, something else kept me. The older man apologized with a mixed smile. Oh no, it was no trouble, really. How have you fared as of late? I do hope you're finally getting the sleep you need. I wish I had good news for you, but sadly no, and not for a lack of effort either. The checkup had begun. I see. Have you been eating 3 meals a day as we discussed? I try to eat at the times you advocate, but work keeps me busy, so... That simply won't do. A harmonious lifestyle is the first step towards improvement. I know, I'm trying, but still. Masaki scratched his head. I'll prescribe you some sleeping pills, but please keep in mind that their potency wears down with regular usage. I understand. If you take them too often, you will have to use stronger pills, which will have a negative effect on your health. The doctor jotted something down on a medical certificate. Yes, I'll keep that in mind. See, now we are 57 again, April 18, like, what? Probably to understand a little bit about that guy, and then, like, he's coming back to this hospital, could be that. I understand that if it is to give, like, a little bit of story for you to understand. Oh, others. Oh my god. I didn't even saw that there was others. It happened around the middle of April. Thought his life had been going smoothly lately. Masaki had felt unbelievable worry ever since he woke up that morning. You'll run out of pills, so you'll figure it out he'll go to the hospital. Huh? However, he had to find several police cars stationed at the entrance. Stern-faced police officers and inspectors were shuffling in and out of the building. What's going on? Oh, Mr. Masaki. Just then Mayu Kamizono, who was talking with a fellow nurse by the entrance, noticed him. Did something happen? Well, the thing is, Mayu's voice suddenly died in her throat. Why don't you come in? It's a little noisy out here. Sure. But it turned out there was just as much as of a ruckus inside. Police officers had formed up in the waiting room, standing guard over the patients. There appeared to be few, if any, outpatients present. Hardly a surprise given the place was crawling with police. Dr. Yamanushi. Mayu hailed the doctor in the waiting room. Yes, what is it? May I explain what's going on to this man? He's a patient of Dr. Sides, you see. Is that right? Then use that room over there, please. The doctor indicated the reception room. Thank you. Right this way, Mr. Masaki. Masaki followed Mayu inside. I need to take out that voice. So, what happened? He repeated his question as soon as the door was shut. From what I hear, Dr. Sides has been arrested. What? Why? Well, if I'm not sure. But it sounds like he was involved in a murder or something. Mayu's voice trailed off. That reminds me, wasn't the anesthesiologist from here arrested just the other day? Yes, but he's completely unrelated to Dr. Murata's arrest, I think. I'm sorry, I know I said I'll explain everything, but I'm very much in the dark myself. She hung her head. At present, we are explaining the situation to patients and referring them to other hospitals should they wish to transfer. Do you have any other psychiatrists here? Well, yes, technically, but are you really sure you'll rather stay after a scandal like this? It would be more of a pain to switch hospitals after all this time, honestly. Masaki decided not to sugarcoat matters. I see, then I'll make the necessary arrangements to set you up with another doctor. Alright, I suppose we'll be seeing more of each other then. Yes, thank you so much for staying. If anything, I'm the one who should be thanking you. Masaki once again wore his heart on his sleeve. Not at all, I figure we'll lose all our patients after this, so I'm just grateful really. I suppose some of that is to be expected, yes. November 29? What the I'm so confused. So wait, we were in November, right? With the girls? It's like the problem is that you need to pay attention to the year that you are. You need to pay attention to the month that you are to make sense. Okay, now I'm in the present, right? Because that was the past. It had to be like that. In this game, you need to pay attention to all of those details to know if it's past or present that you are. 1957 was slowly but surely coming to a close. Thought the hospital had been in a state of turmoil following the incident from 2 springs ago. Things were finally settling down. The director had signed amidst that storm of controversy, leading to his son taking over and renaming the established Kushiki Hospital. However, with the exception of the imprisoned doctors, hardly anything else had changed. The hospital was even steadily reclaiming the patients they lost in the wake of those scandals. That being said, Masaki hadn't strayed from them this entire time. Part of it was because he wished to keep his promise to Mayu, but as you'll say, the main reason was that he would have found it far too troublesome to switch hospitals. He simply wasn't that proactive about treating his illness after all. Likewise, the reason he kept going to the hospital in spite of that was equally passive. You'll have found it too much of a pain to consider what you'll do next if he ever stopped. Thought perhaps that mindset too was just another facet of his illness. Masaki studied the painting in the waiting room. It'll be quite some time since its artist, one Shinsu Mayamiya, had been arrested, and yet it still probably hung there, probably because the patients didn't pay it much mind. Mr. Masaki, just then Mayu hailed him. Yes? Stirred from his musings, Masaki looked her way. Your medicine's ready. Thank you. Still like art, do you? Well, it's all part of my job. Do you draw too? I dabbled in it a long time ago, but I gave up once I realized I liked the talent. But don't you still work in art anyway? Yes, but just a tiny little art gallery, nothing special. They mostly dealt with no-name artists, so rarely was it he got to see the work of people with pedigree like Shinsu Mamiya's. You know, I read up on the artist behind this painting. He was quite an individual, wasn't he? Girl in Shell, was it? Have you ever seen that painting? Just once, when I went to see his exhibit in Ueno. I knew as soon as I saw it that hanging up my paintbrush had been the right decision. Masaki never could have drawn something so insane. Even thought I've been the first to admit that madness was the current master of his mind. The world of art must be a harsh one, huh? Mayu sighed sadly. Anyway, could I please have my pills? Right. Mayu frantically checked her paperwork. They are right past this door. Thank you. Oh no, there's no need for that. I'm sorry for bothering you with all those questions. Mayu bowed apologetic. A little conversation doesn't hurt anyone. Besides, isn't talking to as many people as I can a necessary part of my treatment? Well, yes, I suppose. Then in that case, will you keep it in the future? I really don't mind at all. Yes, of course, anything for the patient. Great. Thought Masaki didn't feel like he was making any real headway in his treatment. He had to admit he'd grown fond of their talks. Okay. Maya retreated to a room she used for breaks. Chilling against the wall, another day, another failed attempt to ask him. Mayu took out a little notebook. Nestled away inside was an old photograph. Okay. A a photo, but we can't even see the face. Mayu had found it when she was sorting through her deceased mother's effects at the beginning of the year. It depicted a lone man, a man who looked much like Masaki. Oh. Thought it couldn't have been him, naturally. The photo was clearly far too mired with age for that. However, the man appeared to be in his early 30s, much like Masaki. Just who could he be? Mayu had been dying to ask Masaki that question. However, it had already been nearly a year since that notion first came to her. Masaki was visiting the hospital again today. He'd been prescribed sleeping pills on account of his sleep disorder, apparently growing worse. Mayu remembered explaining to him that the sooner one took them, the better, since they took a while to kick in. That's why she couldn't ask him. Not when he was about to go home after that. Or at least that was the excuse she fed herself. Another sigh. She knew she had to ask soon, she knew there wasn't much time left. And yet, suddenly the door opened with a clack, quelling any further rumination from Mayu. Oh, Nurse Kamizono. Dr. Yamanoshi, what brings you here? Our patient was just at the psych ward, left something behind. You mean Mr. Masaki? Yes, it's his wallet, so I'm hoping he'll come back for it as soon as he notices, but well... Mayu checked the clock. Nakano Station, the closest station out to the hospital, was less than 5 minutes away. If Masaki had gone there, he would have already come back long ago to retrieve his wallet, once he would notice it was missing. Meaning, he'll likely decide to walk home or something. I'll take it to him. The words were out of Mayu's mouth before she even realized what she was saying. Really? You will do that? Well, if I can find his address, that is. It was with that thought that Mayu reluctantly searched Masaki's wallet. Within it were coins, bills, and pharmacy receipt. Unfortunately for her thought, she found no driver's license or anything of the sort. Oh, his patient's ID. Eventually thought, she procured an orange piece of paper emblazoned with the name Tomoyoki Masaki. But much to her dismay, it listed no other information apart from the letter O, his blood type. Say, Dr. Yamanoshi, we keep the patient ID application on the file, right? Oh yes, why don't you check the file cabinets at the reception desk? I think that's where they are stored. Alright, thank you. To note the others, is it? Mayu left the break room and made a beeline for her new destination. Is something the matter, Kamizon? A fellow nurse was working at the desk looked up when she approached it. Aren't the patient ID application in there? Yes, I believe so, anyway. Great. Mayu opened the cabinet, finding a jungle of papers neatly filled within. They appear to be organized by date. Considering how long he's been with us, Mr. Masaki probably filled out this application earlier last year. Following that hunch, Mayu leafed through the application form around that time. Eventually, she found Masaki in the January 1956 folder. She carefully took it out and studied it. Name Tomoyuki Masaki, address Nakano Ward, Nogatamachi 1 Kom. That was around Nogata Station on the Seibu line. No wonder you hadn't needed to take a train home. Mai quickly copied down the others. I'll be right back. Be sure you get changed first. I know. Oh, by the way, could you let them know I decided to decline their offer? Really? Are you sure? Yeah, I just don't think I'm quite ready for that sort of thing. Thought her co-worker appeared disappointed. Mayu was quite set in her decision. Alright, it's your call. I'm really sorry about this. See you later. Mayu bowed apologetically before heading to the locker room. The shell. The sleeping pills were already kicking in by the time Masaki got home. It was less akin to drowsiness eating him like a train and more along the lines of lethargy gradually corroding him from the inside. His mind was fogging up, almost as if he'd smoked one cigarette too many. Those pills must have been far stronger than you'd given them credit for. Then again, that was exactly how you wanted it, given his recent unbreakable streak of insomnia. At least you'll be able to get a good night's sleep now, if nothing else. That said, perhaps his head would hit the floor before he could even reach his pillow. Just then, he heard a knock on the door. Who could it be? The landlord? No, I already paid my rent. Then someone from work, perhaps? But I already got permission to take a day off to go to hospital. No, hold on, did I? Now that I think about it, I can't really remember if I asked it. Never mind that, I'll just open. Not like all this guessing going to tell me who it is anyway. Coming. Masaki opened the door without bothering to look through the peephole. Oh, for a moment he didn't recognize her. He'll never seen her out of the uniform after all. Wait, is that you, Kamizono? Oh, good, so you didn't move after all. Huh? What are you doing here? You forgot your wallet back at the hospital. Huh? Masaki fished through his pockets only to find they were indeed empty. He couldn't believe it would take him so long to notice. I suppose I did. Here you go. Mayu handed him back his wallet. I appreciate you coming all this way for me. Masaki stuck it back where it belonged. Mr. Masaki, yes? Is there something else? Masaki leaned against the door. Mayu was a nurse, so she must have known the pills were currently doing a number on him. Could you take a look at this? The woman in question presented him with a small scrap of paper. Is this a photograph? It was indeed, and a rather old one at that. But the moment Masaki saw the man in it, he blanched. Don't you think he looks a lot like you? I was wondering if perhaps he was your father or... I don't know him. Huh? Are you deaf? I said I don't know him. Masaki flew off the handle before he even knew what he was doing. But the resemblance is uncanny, and I found this in my mother's belongings, so I was scared. For the last time, I don't know him. Masaki was raising hell. I thought he knew he was making Mayu cry. He couldn't stop the torrent of emotions erupting out of the depths of his heart. Get out! I don't want to talk about him. With that throw, he shoved Mayu away. Ah! Mayu staggered back a few steps. Masaki seized that chance to slam the door in her face. He then locked it shut and leaned his back against it. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Mayu was weeping on the other side, but before long her voice faded away. Phew. Masaki slumped to the floor. His insides twisted and turned with regret. Thought the sight of the photo had indeed triggered him. He knew you could have exhibited far more tact with her. Unfortunately, the pills had robbed him of his capacity to think straight. Masaki gripped his head and groaned. A part of him wanted to chase after her and apologize, but his muscles refused to cooperate with him. I'll say I'm sorry the next time I see her. He hadn't even properly thanked her for returning his wallet. Masaki crawled over to his foot on the floor. It was a struggle just keeping his eyes open by this point. And no sooner had he laid his head on the pillow than did he fall into the depths of slumber. So he knows that man. Was his father? Brother? Mayu went straight home after visiting Masaki's apartment. She hadn't felt like returning to the hospital. She lacked confidence that she could immediately climb back from Masaki screaming in her face. Though she knew she wasn't the perfect nurse, she could at least tell that Masaki's attitude had been a side effect of his medication. However, that knowledge did little stop the tears cascading down her cheeks. Whatever she had done, it would be serious enough to shatter his typical mild-mannered demeanor. Mayu took out the photo. It was the sight of it that would set him off. Why? All Shieldon was asked since she was curious about their resemblance. Thought she and Masaki had known each other for nearly 2 years. It was strictly in the capacity of nurse and patient. So while she was aware of his condition and whatnot, she hadn't the slightest inkling about his personal life. If the man in the photo was indeed related to him, perhaps there was some bad blood between the two. That at least explained why Yule sent her away without so much as an explanation. Still, that didn't clarify why this photo had been in her mother's possession. Maybe there was some connection between her and Mr. Masaki. However, Mayu didn't know anyone but him who had that surname. And to her knowledge, her mother never had any friends or acquaintances by that name either. I don't know. But I thought I'll be seeing Mr. Masaki again. Not after what just happened. Mayu's vision blurred with tears. She wanted to apologize to him and beg for forgiveness. But unfortunately, it was ugly, unlike you'll grant her that. Wait, maybe you won't even remember this. He was under the influence of those sleeping pills after. A sudden knock interrupted her thoughts. Huh? Someone was at the door. Mayu checked the clock, only to find it was past midnight. Who'll come to visit this late? The knocking didn't let up. Wait, could it be? She wiped her tears and rose to her feet. If it was him, she would waste no time apologizing. She didn't know whether he'll forgive her, but the fact he'll come all this way was definitely a good sign. Hello? Doesn't even show. November 30. Masaki awoke to a ferocious pounding on this door. Huh? He shook his head, failing miserably to exercise the dregs of slumber. It seemed the pills hadn't worn off entirely. I'm up. Masaki rose to his feet and staggered over to the door. Hello? He opened his head, still uncapped from sleep. Tomoyo Masaki, I presume, a man with glasses abruptly marched into his apartment. And you are? The man ignored Masaki's inquiry and shoved some sort of document right in his face. See this warrant? It states you are under arrest of suspicion of homicide, which means you'll be coming with me. Wait, what? Under arrest? Homicide? What's this guy on about? Let me take out the voice. How the hell there's no voice for that guy? The man cruelly snatched Masaki's arm, with no regard for the fact the latter was clearly struggling to process what he heard. and a second later cuffs sank their icy metal jaws into Masaki's wrists. Suspect secured at 8:12 a.m. The man checked his watch as he made the proclamation. Hey, what do you think you are? Save your excuse for the station. We'll have plenty of time to get acquainted with them there. Take him away. A police officer Masaki hadn't noticed up until then emerged and seized his shoulder. That merciless pain demolished whatever vestige of sleep still clung to Masaki. What's the meaning of this, detective? I'm no detective. The enraged man outburst shut Masaki right up. Could it be that Mayu is dead and is being accused? That is to say, Heiichi Tokisaga. Okay, so now it's the brother of Yukari. Found myself summoned to the MPD on the final day of November, right? This has to be the brother, right? I think it was. Police Superintendent Yagunama, an acquaintance of mine, had come to me with a request. By the way, let me see if there's no name to remove. No? There was no other way what they will have opened doors to Criminal Investigation Division, CID, Section 1 for a long-run private eye like me. Is this the brother? I forgot. Because I know he was a detective and he, like she said, like she will leave always the code into the in his building, in his office. But I don't remember if it's this one. Don't you think it's sad that the esteemed police superintendent has to nab a detective off the streets for help? Speaking of Yaginuma, he was very the same guy I was creeping to. So this is Yagunuma. Highly not when our department is far too buried with work to spare anyone of worth. If there was one thing I could always count on this name, Yaginuma, to do, it was sound snooty, like just now. I humbly request your assistance, sir. Whenever you call me that, it means I've got nothing but a world of trouble ahead of me. Well, whatever. So what's the case? Exchanging battle with Yaginuma wasn't exactly my idea of good time, thus I got straight down to business. A mere homicide, nothing more. We already have the suspect in custody too. Then why do you need me? I procured a cigarette and stuck it between my lips. Oh, I could have sworn you had told me you quit. Just at home. I lit it up and puffed some smoke for a while. The victim is a nurse from Kochiki Hospital. I almost dropped my cigarette. That place? Kochiki Hospital was a general hospital in Nakano that had formerly been known as Kochiki Pathological Research Institute. I got involved with it due to some incidents that went down 2 springs prior. The victim was one Mayu Kamizono, 25 years old. She was apparently murdered at her apartment last night around 10 o'clock. Now, you have a driver's license, do you not? Yep, just got it. Then I'll delegate the driving to you. Heaven forbid I ever get behind the wheel. Why, don't have a license? Because driving is beneath my station, naturally. Still the toast of town, aren't you? So there you go, it was Mayo that died. But she said it was midnight, not 10. Huh. Yagunuma directed me from the back of the squad car until we reached the scene of crime. Cops were cordoning off a 2-story apartment complex near a field. There are few residents in the vicinity, so it appears hardly any of the locals noticed anything unusual, even in the dead of night. Who found the body? A student who works as a milkman. He noticed something was off when he tried to leave milk in her unlocked apartment. Off, huh? Well, if it ain't Tokisaka. A door on the first floor opened, revealing a familiar face, Natsume the coroner. Is that the scene of the crime? What the fuck? I'll work and no play. You're making my heart weep. Natsume wriggled in that typical manner of hers that was either serious or a joke. Probably later, thought I could never tell with her. Is the body still there? Was just about to check it out, but I was waiting on y'all because we are dealing with someone who liked playing with their food this time around. Someone who liked playing with their food? Do you mean someone mutilated the body? Yeah, but it's easier to see for yourself, so get in here, you too, Yagunuma. Natsume pick on us over. This was hardly my first rodeo with such a case. Is it gonna turn out just like the other ones? No, impossible. All those cases are closed, with the exception of the disappearance of a certain girl anyway. What are you waiting for, sir? Aren't you going to step inside? Right, sorry. I hurry into the crime scene at Yagunuma's behest. Alright, so now you can take out the voice. The first thing to greet me was a gut-churning stench. Though the room appeared to have been ventilated, it reeked all the same. Probably she died because she was trying to figure it out who was that man in the photo. Clapping that. That should do it. I'll probably have to wait on the autopsy for any more details. Save the postulation for later, will you? We have yet to clean the scene. Got it. Say, Yaginuma. You told me you had a suspect in custody, right? What's the word on that? The suspect was witness arguing with the victim at his residence yesterday evening. Is that it? I'll say that's rather damning. Wouldn't you? Hell no. Guy's getting treated like the killer based on that alone? Poor bastard. In that case, I caught a gleam in Yaginuma's eye. By all means, prove his guilt, sir. Personally, I feel like I should be proving his innocence, but whatever flips your pancake, man. Wouldn't it be jumping the gun to assume he's the culprit? Hardly. An arrest warrant's already been issued after all. I'm shocked the court even handled one of those out on such flimsy reasoning. We were concerned he might attempt to go on the lam. Yaginuma didn't have so much of the slightest decibel of shame in his voice. Thought naturally, he shall be released should any evidence confirming it will have been impossible for him to commit the crime emerge. Let me guess, that's my job? If you are so confident that it is premature to declare him the culprit, then surely proving his innocence should hardly pose you a challenge, shouldn't it, sir? Oh, for the love of. So essentially my job was just cleaning up after this guy's mess. Thought I cannot disclose everything. I shall inform you of all I am permitted to share upon our return to HQ. I take it that means I'm playing chauffeur again? The orange hues of sunset seep into CID Section 1's office. First and foremost, know that I shall not be disclosing suspect personal information. Why not? What if I can't prove something without it? Then admit defeat. Consider this insurance on the off chance he's released. So that I can't look into his background? I gotta say, I don't see any purpose behind that. Let's just say there are certain circumstances and leave it at that, shall we? Now, are you ready? I decided to shift my train of thought upon hearing that question. Thought I wouldn't be learning this guy's name. I had to focus on clearing it. As I'll ever be, let's start with the basics. You said the crime occurred around 10 PM, right? What was the victim doing then? He claims he was sleeping. According to his testimony, he went straight to bed after Mayu Kamizono visited. So you want us to believe he hit the hay the second he just finished having an argument? Perhaps he went to bed in a snit after suffering a messy back breakup. Yaginuma sneered. At any rate, there you have it. Circumstantially, his testimony is equivocal at best. Thought he did claim he'd taken sleeping pills. What did the witness to the argument have to say? They heard him bellowing at her to get out. Afterward, they claimed they saw her depart the apartment complex in tears. All by herself? It will appear so. Doesn't that clear this guy of any suspicion then? Not when we cannot prove that the suspect didn't leave after the fact. That's what they call a devil's proof. But while I don't know if it proves anything, there may have been a reason he couldn't have left. And what would that be? Well, I decided to bring up the evidence Yagunima himself had just provided. State of the corpse abdomen, injection mark. Probably this? You say you'll take sleeping pills, right? Have you turned up anything backing up that up? Well, yes, we confirmed he took them at the hospital around noon. Apparently, the effects are long-lasting, but they also take quite a while to kick in. You can even flip through some documents. If the victim visited him around the time they start taking effect, then it's entirely possible you really did fall asleep right after the argument. We cannot deny that. It appears that it takes 6 hours for the pills to kick in, upon which they rendered the patient asleep for 12 hours. I'll say that settles it, though, wouldn't you? If he took the pills around noon, then it's no surprise that they start kicking in when the victim visited in the evening. What's more, that means he was probably totally conked out at 10 PM, the estimate time of the murder. Maybe he woke up right when he got arrested? It did appear to be in somewhat of a stupor when we brought him in. Still, that raises a question. Why was he prescribed such hardcore sleeping pills in the first place? That will be getting to his personal information, thus I cannot answer that question. Gee, thanks, you're a real help. Oh well, figure I'll get that answer. Still a hospital, huh? Mayu Kamizono was a nurse. Was that the connection between the two of them? On one hand, we had Kuchiki Hospital, and on the other, a hospital department that will prescribe potent sleeping medication. Mind if I ask an unrelated question? So long as it is within my authority to answer. Did Mayu Kamizan work at the psych ward? I cannot disclose that information. You do realize it will be a cinch to find out, right? If you wish to investigate on your own time, then by all means be my guest. However, I do not believe it has particular relevance to this case. You can't say that for sure, not after potential connection was found at the scene of the crime. And what will that be? Could it be the what? Mm, The injection? Returning blood one? No. Open a stitched wound to find a bizarre clot. It has to be the injection. Oh, the injection mark on the victim's neck. It indicates the possibility that she was injected with a soporific or muscle relaxant. Yeah, in that case, shouldn't we be investigating if the hospital is in the same medication? A most valid point, I'll consider it. So in the other words, I'll take that into account if I feel like it. I am quite aware of that, sir. Yaginuma start organizing his documents. I believe that concludes our discussion. We'll handle the rest. You sure? I still think there's stuff that could use a bit more investigating. I believe I summoned you with regards to your insights into the crime, not the direction of the investigation. Whatever. At the end of the day, all that matters is that the right verdict's handed down. Wasn't like I needed the credit or anything. I'm being magnanimous. I was under the impression you still have other business on your plate. Business? No, not that I can think of. Aren't you still attempting to locate her? My mind went blank, my voice dying in my throat. By her, he was referring to the girl who disappeared after being kidnapped from the hospital last year. They will say back when she was hospitalized that she didn't have long to live. I will resume my search for her as soon as I will close all the other cases I was handling at the time. Unfortunately, I'll yet to dig up any leads. It's none of your business. True, I admit her whereabouts are of no concern to me. However, the police are still hunting for him. He was the one who kidnapped her. The man was a serial killer and a famous author. It was only natural for the police to hunt him after all the perverse murders he'll commit. But while it will already been over a year and a half since you absconded, no similar homicide had been committed. Perhaps you'll find everything he ever wanted once he'll gotten his hands on her. But whether she was dead or alive, I wanted to set her free. I think that's on the first one. There's those weird murders and shit like that was happening. I left the MPD and took the Shuo line from Tokyo Station to Kichichochi. The sun had long since set, streets alight with their pubs. I weaved my way through the waves of drunkards and headed for an establishment a little further away from their hub. Namely the cafe known as Moonworld. This one you go to the first one. It was a tiny little place that functioned as a bar at night. Thought a closed sign was hanging off the door. I went in once I made sure the lights were still on. Oh, why hello there, Tokisaka. The owner of the cafe, one Kyoko Azuki, paused in the middle of polishing a glass. Hey there, Kyoko. Mind if I stick around for a bit? Sure, I don't mind. Thought I don't have much to serve apart from the leftover salad. That's fine. You still got booze, yeah? But of course, coming right up. Kyoko poured an amber liquid into a glass. Thanks. Oops. I sipped the foam that will threaten to cascade over the rim of the glass. Another long day of work, I take it? Kyoko took the stool next to me, her own glass of beer in hand. Kinda, yeah. You do still go home, right? I know you have been rather busy lately, but still. When I can, sure. Knowing you just go to get a chance of clothes or dump your laundry off on Yukari, don't you? What are you, psychic? Please, Yukari told me, that's all. Kyoko giggled. That little snitch. I'm sure she's just lonely. Her? Lonely? Impossible. She's been climbing her way through school just fine. But it hasn't even been a full 2 years since those incidents, right? There you go, the voice. True. Sometimes I almost forgot it to be in a tough time for Yukari too. You need to go home more often. Got it? I know. I gulped down my beer in one swig. It almost felt like the acrid flavor was coursing through me. Business has been piling up though, for better or worse. Sounds rough. Oh, speaking of, Kyoko got up and managed her post behind the counter once again. I just got a letter from Wazumi. Seriously? I didn't know that guy could write. Kyoso Yozumi was our mutual friend and a police inspector. He'll be transferred from MPD to a prefectural police HQ in the farthest reach of Japan or somewhere. Thanks to that, I was the one getting saddled with Yagunuma's jobs. I'm sure he must be lonely out there all by himself. He's desperate enough to send you a letter, that's for sure. The guy might finally worked up the guts to confess to her right before he was shipped out of Tokyo. Thought I didn't know for sure. Seems he'll be too busy to stop by for New Year's, don't you think? Write back and tell him he should be grateful just to have the work. Hey, not a bad idea. I departed Moonworld and trekked north for a little until I arrived at home. Once there, I checked my watch before stepping inside. It was 9 p.m. I was still hungry. Big shock, given all I ate at Moonworld was a little salad. Unfortunately, there probably won't be any grub left at this hour. I'm home. Oh, welcome back, Reggie. Yukai looked up from the book she'd been reading on the sofa. Got any food sitting around? I took off my tie as I asked that question. Oh, I'm sorry, but I already ate. Yukai hung her head. Nah, don't worry about it. I figured as much. Just sit tight, I'll go eat something up. Yukai trotted past me and made a beeline for the kitchen. Thanks, really. I dropped by my room after expressing my gratitude. Once I removed my coat and hung it up. The late autumn air had turned the empty room into an icebox, thus I immediately retreated back to the heated living room. Yukai was already making dinner. I'm eating up some miso soup right now. Thanks, sounds great. Alright, I need to eat up the stewed potato stew. Nah, just serve them as is. I didn't want to make her to go all that trouble for me. But, serious, don't worry about it. You're full fantastic, warm and cold. Okay, but while you are at it, could you please warm some sake? Yes, I'll get right to it. Yukai slipped back into the kitchen. Phew. I kicked back and relaxed. Much as I want to drag on a cigarette, I held myself back. I'll promise Yukai I won't smoke in the house anymore after all. Yukai made the request right after that incident. She'll say it was for the good of my health, but I bet part of it was also that she didn't want her clothes reeking of cigarettes at her age. Reiji, your dinner's ready. Yukai came over with bowls of miso soup and rice on the tray. Thanks again. You're welcome. The miso soup was steaming, full of slices of radish. I drank some of it before getting started on my rice. Did you have another hard day of work? Yup, I nodded. You have been rather busy as of late, haven't you? Yeah, sorry I haven't been around all that much. It's fine, all that much is that you are safe. Yukari smiled. Thought I did detect a hint of ear behind it. Yukari brought over some hot sake once I finished eating. Here you go. Great, thank you. She nodded and poured me a cup. You didn't drink at Kyoko's place? I've been wondering when she will ask. Only a little. Well, I suppose it's none of my business now, is it? Yukai took away the empty bowls. It seemed like she was in a bad mood. Thought it was probably my fault for being away from home so often. Now that I have a car, I should make the effort to come back as much as possible. Yukai returned just as I will finish that thought. Hey Yukai, how's school's been? Normal I suppose. Yukai cocked her head. Class aren't putting you through hell or anything. No, so far so good. Will you tutor me if I ever get stuck with something though? Of course, did you forget I used to be a teacher? Wasn't that just an act so you could infiltrate school? Hey, it wasn't all fake. I taught some world history class. Really? That isn't ringing any bells. So she forgot all about that, huh? In any case, I'm not having any trouble personally. Personally? That sure makes it sound like someone you know is having trouble though. Yukai breathed a heavy sigh. I should have known better to think I could hide things from a detective. Is something the matter? I'm not the one with the problem, so I don't know if it's my place to speak, but... Yukai began explaining once she got that claim out of the way. We got a new student in our class a few weeks ago. Almost nobody transferred student in the fall, so we all thought it was odd. However, Yukai hesitated for a moment. One of my classmates heard rumors about her from her last school, unsavory ones at that. I see. I nodded. So, what? You think they are true? No, of course not. Yukari shook her head. Then what's the problem? Just believe what you see and hear with your own eyes and ears. Yes, you're right. My sister nodded. A rumor is just that until you uncover the truth, isn't it? Oh, but you know, speaking of which, there's another rumor I've been hearing. Oh, and what's that? There was something about Yukai's tone that made me sit upright in my chair. Word has it that you have been frequent Moon World lately. Now that is a rumor. I didn't go there all the time, probably definitely. Why the hell is that a rumor? Masaki turned back and reproachfully glared at the towering MPD building as he left. They will arrest him under vague circumstances, interrogating him name only, and lock him in a cramped room. Then they will release him just as abruptly come nighttime. Thought he was still much in the dark, he did know that Mayu Kamizon has been murdered. Now you could never ask her about that photo. The police had probably taken it as evidence. Masaki had been afraid they would eventually discover the truth about him once they saw it. However, not once had they brought the photo up. Have they still not found it? Or perhaps the killer took it with them? Then again, Mayu might have gotten rid of it herself. Whatever the case, things weren't looking good for him. Thought with that being said, his freedom was assured now to you being released. On paper, anyway. Masaki took the train back to his neighborhood. Is it even safe for me to go home? Can I keep living the same peaceful life as ever? Or must I spend the rest of my days jumping at shadows? He couldn't help but feel like he'll be tailed even on the train. Suddenly Masaki came to a halt right outside his apartment complex. Someone's there. Someone was waiting in front of his apartment. The figure emerged from the darkness as thought alerted to Masaki's return. The street lights illuminated their face, revealing their identity. You are...
お久しぶり。
who the hell it is? December 3rd. It was a girl, you could hear the voice. Could it be Yukiko? Alba Girls Academy sat in a section of area smack dab in the middle of between Tanashi and Musashino. Thought Yukari had moved up the part, but she still studied in the same school building. Yukari tracked the familiar route to school. This was the road she'll traverse with her friends for years, and that won't change anytime soon. Good morning, Tokisaka. Oh, good morning, Satu. She'll be addressed by none other than Ayumu Sato, one of her younger schoolmates. I usually don't see you at this hour. Don't you have candle practice? Not this morning, so I can go at my own pace. Hey, still working hard, are you? Yes, I need to polish my skills if I wish to become a detective's assistant after all. You still haven't given up on that? Yukari heaved aside. Ayumu had been dead set on that goal ever since she'd seen Heiichi at work over a year and a half ago. Thought Yukari was happy her brother marriage were being acknowledged. That didn't lessen the danger of such a path in life. I know I still have a long way to go. I'll have to train more if I'm to earn my place. However, it seemed Ayumu was determined. Just be careful, right? Of course, I'm aware of the risks. Yukari wandered the school hallways. It was a bit chilly even indoors, no doubt due to the long arm of winter drawing even nearer. Thought not frigid enough to see her breath, it was still far too cold for her to be inclined to remove her coat before reaching her classroom. Thus she made her way there at brisk pace. Morning, Kari. A voice addressed Yukari from behind. Oh, good morning, Kohan. Yukari turned around and faced Kohan Tori. She was a fellow classmate, as well as the first friend Yukari had made after moving up departments. So hey, did you do your classic literature homework? Well, yes, but why do you? Let me copy it, please, pretty please. Kohan practically genuflected before Yukari even had time to finish her sentence. I had a feeling that's where this was leading. Yukari unleashed a wary sigh. You do realize you are supposed to do your own homework, right? Hey, cut me some slack. Something huge came up yesterday. My grand piano started playing all by itself. Can you believe that? No, because I never even knew you had a piano. That's cause I just made it up. I assume as much. Kohan was always telling silly jokes and fibs like that. Fine, then how about this? The dead body in my closet started moving on its own. If you are going to copy my homework, then you better hurry. There's a lot to get through. Seriously, Clap? I know. What if I just change the name on your notebook and hand that in? Absolutely not. Hey, can't fault the girl for trying. Yukari could tell Kohan response that she hadn't actually been serious. The pair entered the classroom, Yukari handing Kohan her notebook before approaching her own desk. The girl who sat behind her was already there. Good morning, Kaihara. Good morning. The girl One Yukiko Kaihara mumbled that without so much as sparing Yukari a glance. She will join Alba Girls Academy just a few weeks prior, which was rather unusual time of the year to transfer, to say the least. Yukiko stuck out like a sore thumb. She sat in the back of the classroom with her eyes glued to a book, clad in an aura that repelled her peers. There were nasty rumors surrounding her. Said stories were started by a student who supposedly had a friend in Yukiko's old school. According to her, one of Yukiko's former classmates had passed away shortly before Yukiko transferred. Apparently, said classmate and Yukiko had been inseparably close friends. So naturally, that meant they would be together when she would die. As such, rumor had it that Yukiko had pushed her friend into the path of an oncoming train, killing her. Thought Yukiko had denied the accusations, they eventually became too much for her to bear, driving her out of her former school. However, that was all they were, rumors. Yukari snuck a look behind her. Yukiko was reading her book, completely unaware of Yukari's stare. Yukari had no intention of asking her whether the rumors were true. She simply wished Yukiko would be open a little. Yukari took the Shuo line to Shinjuku after school. That place was home to her brother's detective agency, and cleaning it up was Yukari's self-appointed duty. After all, she knew her brother would never do it if it left to its own device. The agency was located within a building behind Kinokuniya, in an alley with a view to Isetan, or Isefan. No cars were parked out front. Her brother had taken the car this morning, so that indicated he likely wasn't in at the moment. Thought it was good he was finding work. Yukari still worried about him from time to time. She knew it was probably far too late to hope he'll ever get a normal job, but that didn't change the fact that she disliked the danger he constantly put himself in. Yukari shook her head moments after she stepped into the office. That the place was a total pigsty, like always. Documents were scattered across the floor. Half-eaten bread sat on the desk, housing an impressive colony of mold. Hordes of dust balls lined the walls. Perhaps the only saving grace was the fact that her brother hadn't left any dirty laundry around. Alright, here we go. Yukari strolled over to the window to head the room out, only to stop just a stone's throw away. She'll given the incoming breeze would likely have blown away the dust and papers. Thus she decided to organize the documents first. Yukari skimmed them as she separated them by category. Plenty of them were about homicide case as she feared. The documents describe all sorts of gruesome details she wished she'll never seen. Fortunately, none of them had crime scene photos attached. Yukari gasped when she saw a particular document. It was a report regarding Toko Kuchiki's whereabouts. The document was dated a few months back during the middle of summer. So you're still looking for her, Reggie? She disappeared 2 springs prior, and ever since then, Heichi had been a slave to an obsession named Toko Kuchiki. Yukari herself wasn't privy to all the details. However, she did know that her classmate Toko Kuchiki had been kidnapped while on death's door, and that her chance of survival were next to none. Does Reggie believe she's alive, or? Yukari strained out of stacks of papers and piled them atop the desk. In the end, she knew it was none of her business. All she could do was quietly await his return. The shell. Kuchiki Hospital stood in Tokyo's Nakano-ward. A series of events had occurred 2 springs ago, back when the hospital was still known as Kuchiki Pathological Research Institute, that had temporarily threatened the facility's continued existence. However, the hospital had miraculously survived, likely to thanks to director Yasutada Kuchiki, taking all the heat from them and resigning. His son, Fumiya Kuchiki, took over and changed the name to Kuchiki Hospital, but obstetrician Koharu Yamanouchi had subsequently been forced to take over all sorts of duties, since the hospital had lost several doctors in the process. Today, she had a psychotherapy session scheduled with a hospitalized patient. Thought that was outside Koharu's realm of expertise, she still had much experience talking things through with young women. Despite the rather bombastic name psychotherapy, the procedure ultimately just boiled down to doctors giving the patient someone to talk to. So that wasn't the problem here. The real problem lay in her patient's condition. The girl in question has been hospitalized in the psych ward for many years now. However, rather than hiring a full-time psychiatrist, the hospital had instead recruited psychiatrists part-time from other medical facilities since the incident a year prior. Clara pulled herself together. She couldn't afford to yawn in front of a patient, no matter how tired she felt. After all, even the tiniest gesture from a doctor could harm a patient and instill anxiety within them. Koharu reached the hospital room. The nameplate on the wall read Michiru Chirosaki. After ringing herself, Koharu gingerly knocked on the door. Miss Shirosaki, I'm coming in. It was a one-man hospital room. The patient who called it home was typically assigned her own room. After all, there was no telling what would happen if she were kept without a patient. A girl in pajamas was sitting on the bed by the window. Okay, I don't remember this one. Miss Shirosaki. The girl Michiru Shirosaki looked up at Koharu. Her head was wrapped in bandages that covered her left eye. How are you feeling? Koharu sat in a chair facing Michiru. The girl didn't answer. No, it was more like she didn't even realize someone had addressed her. Mundane conversations were impossible for her. Stumped, Koharu scanned the room. There it is. A stuffed animal was tucked under the covers, its head resting atop the pillow. Miss Shirosaki, what happened to that rabbit of yours? Koharu switched tactics as soon as she saw it. Michiru spun her head, taking stock of her surroundings. She then reached out and grabbed the stuffed rabbit as soon as she laid eyes on it. What's wrong? Michiru spoke to the stuffed rabbit. Said stuffed animal was her means of communication. Rarely, if ever, did she talk to others directly. Michiru had been handed over to the hospital after a history of abuse. Thus, speaking solely through her rabbit was like a self-defense mechanism of hers. How are you feeling? Good, I hope? Michiru stared at the stuffed rabbit. Just then, Koharu noticed the bandage around Michiru's arm were unraveling. Oh dear, they are getting loose. Koharu took Michiru's hand. Michiru slapped her hand away and instinctively put distance between the two of them. It's okay. I'm not going to take your friend away. Koharu calmly reassured Michiru of her intent after seeing the later hanging her stuffed rabbit for dear life. Michiru held an arm out, grip firm on the stuffed rabbit all the while. Thank you. Jesus, so many cuts. Koharu unraveled Michiru's bandage. White skin peeked out from beneath them. They hitch. Michiru once again addressed her stuffed rabbit. They'll never heal if you scratch them so much, so you need to stop that, alright? The swelling of her skin was from when she scratched at her scars. Koharu took ointment out of her pocket, coated her hand in it, and smeared it across Michiru's arm. Once that was finished, she readdressed Michiru's bandage. Does it itch anywhere else? Why? Michiru cocked her head. Koharu knew how difficult it was to communicate with this girl, hence why she was being so patient with her. Koharu herself had once gone through something similar, so she truly pitied the girl. Ah, by the way, there is voice. Can't even hear this one. There is. Is something the matter? Yeah, Michiru looked at her stuffed rabbit and nodded at it. Her world defied a layman like Koharu understanding. Michiru Shirosaki was by no means stupid. A psychiatrist who himself was far removed from the realm of normality had said she was, in fact, far more intelligent than the average person. But would us understanding Michiru truly do her any good, or? Tal Koharu herself had once been a psych ward patient, she didn't know the answer to that particular question. December 4. One day after. A group of apartment complex built after the war were located south of Musashi Sakai Station. Yukiko entered one of them and ascended the stairs. I'm home. However, no one was there to greet her. Yukiko had already known that it would be the case, of course. Her mother Fuimi worked at the nursery all the way into the evening. As such, she wouldn't be back until it got dark. In the meantime, Yukiko would cook some rice in preparation for dinner, so she changed into her casual clothes and put on her apron. Okay, the first order of business was washing the rice. Yukiko turned on the faucet, soaking the rice with cold water. Her fingers went numb, but she knew this was a necessary part of making good rice. She squashed the rice with her bare hands, keeping her strength in check so she didn't break the grains. After dumping the muddy sludge of starch, she replaced the water several times. Yukiko finally stopped kneading once the water was as clear as a mirror. She then dumped the rice into the rice cooker pot, poured some water in, and closed the lid. All she had to do now was leave it like that until it was ready. It would probably be all nice and fluffy by the time her mother got home. And so it was that Yuki completed her job. The rest was all on mother's capable shoulders. Yuki couldn't cook after all, thus she took off her apron and went to her room. It was a rather dreary place devoid of much in the way of personal possessions. Yuki sat on the floor and took a book out of her bag. Then she started reading it, carefully poring over each and every word. Since she had often been told she was forgetful, she did her best to memorize it all. That was why it took her a long time to finish a book. However, she was happy to get sucked into the worlds of her favorite stories for hours on end. Fuyumi returned after sunset. The rice is all done. Great, thanks a bunch. Fuyumi checked on the rice cooker. You don't believe me, do you? That's not true. It's just that you smashed up the rice that one time, so I work really hard to not repeat that mistake, you know? Yukiko inflated her cheeks. Yeah, I know, thank you. Fuyumi took off her coat and stood in the kitchen. So what's for dinner? Well, I got some hen off the woods, so I figure I'll make some stir fry. You mean mushrooms? Yukiko bluntly grimaced. Hey, you can't be picky, just be grateful you got the luxury to be selective with your meals. I sure as heck didn't when I was a kid. But besides, you don't eat meat, right? So you gotta get some nutrition in that diet of yours. Mushrooms don't have any nutritional value. What are you talking about? Hen of the woods have all kinds of nutrients, even the ones that make you smart. Really? Heck, if I know. Fumi cocked her head. You tried to trick me. Seriously though, they really do have all kinds of nutrients. Trust me, I don't work at a nursery for nothing. But babies don't eat mushrooms. So what? You wanna drink my milk instead? It's not like I was raised on it. Indeed, Fuyumi wasn't Yukiko's really mother. She was simply her foster mother, though Yukiko considered her more as an older roommate of sorts. Fine, I'll make some tempura instead, so eat some sweet potato, will you? I don't like potato. Oh, come on, you gotta at least eat something. A seasonal early sheet of snow blanketed the grounds of Ueno Station. She watched the station from behind the nearly post office. Cold gusts of wind rushed through the narrow alleyway from time to time, waving her left sleeve like a flag. Good thing I cut my hair, thought the woman, one Toshi Aoki. Long hair would have just blinded her in this weather. That said, she'll have been lying if she said she wasn't a little disappointed she couldn't wear her favorite hairpin anymore. So that's him, huh? Toshi compared the man who exited the station to the sketch he had on hand. Thought it wasn't perfect, it did capture his features well enough. Plus his unique clothes were a dead giveaway. A pure white priest robe. It stuck out like a thumb in the sea of black and blue overcoats that decorated the station square. His face was serene despite how ill-dressed he was for the weather. Several men surrounded him as he marched forth. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get a chance to talk to him. Toshi didn't want to steer the pot if she could help it. The man climbed into a brand new black car that was just sitting outside the station. Toshi jotted down the license plate number in the march of the sketch. That car gotta be with the congregation. The man's followers get into another car. Should I follow? Nah, screw it. I already know where they are headed. Getting caught telling them will likely just spell all sorts of problems for her work. I'll just consider myself lucky I got a good look at his face and call it here for today. Toshi emerged from behind the building. A frigid breeze rammed into her now unshielded frame. Now then, I should get myself something from one of those food stalls to warm myself up. Minus that Takayoki one, of course. So this is another character, but she's like following someone. The Cyber 5. Masaki sat on a bench in a placid wait by Shinjuku Station's exit. He blankly stared up at Nick's roof. It was snowing. How many days has it been now? Masaki hadn't been home since he caught that woman near his apartment. He didn't want her to track him down. Thus, he'll spend day after day aimlessly wandering the streets and sleeping wherever he could find shelter from the cold of a night. He'll try his workplace, but his boss had fired him on the spot. Apparently, he hadn't wanted to keep a murder suspect on the payroll. That was fine with Masaki though. He hadn't been keen on staying in one place anyway. So you'll accept his paltry severance pay and moved on. That had been the end of that, and while he was at it, he'll cancel his lease agreement. Masaki had informed the landlord that he could do whatever he wished with everything left in the apartment. For Masaki wanted to avoid as much trouble as possible. After all, he'll been a fugitive for the past decade. Maybe starting a new life again won't be so bad. And yet, despite that initial optimism, Masaki heaved a forlorn sigh. The last few days alone had been positively draining. Thought he knew he should have been going to Tokyo Station or Ueno Station. If he wanted to skip town, he couldn't muster the energy to drag himself over there. I could always take the Shuo line from Shinjuku Station toward Kofu. However, he was reluctant to do so. After all, that will only bring him close to the place he'll been trying to avoid. Masaki looked up at the roof of Nico again. For a moment, the notion he could get as far as away from everything as possible if he went up there crossed his mind. No, hold on. That's probably not high enough to do the job. However, he wasn't eager to jump off a building anyway. Not when there will be so many prying eyes. No, he wanted to die inconspicuously. Jumping in front of a train won't be much better. It has to be more discreet. Masaki now regretted cancelling his lease. He could have simply hanged himself in his apartment if he hadn't. It wasn't like anyone would ever visit him after all. Okay, so thinking of ways to die, huh? After buying something at Niku, Masaki took a train and got off at Kichichochi. He trudged away from the sofa entrance until he arrived at Inokashira Park. The park was as silent as a tomb. Meanwhile, the reflection of the street lights swayed in the pond. What a beautiful sight. He wanted to commit it to art. A picture of nature in the city, completely different from the rural landscapes you'll use it to draw. Even the barren cherry trees brimmed with an aura of human refinement. Masaki lumbered over to the base of one of the trees, the carpet of snow crunching beneath his feet with each step. He touched the bark as soon as he arrived at his destination. Masaki almost felt like he could hear the immobile plant's heartbeat. The cherry blossoms were building up strength so they could bloom beautifully come spring. Perhaps becoming nutrients to support that cause wouldn't be such a bad fate. Who was it that said corpses are buried under cherry trees again? Motojiro Kaichi? Masaki produced a small fluid knife from the paper bag he carried. He thoroughly scrutinized his options until he found one that looked like it could cut deep. Thought perhaps you'll alert the cashier in the process. Well, not like it even matters. For soon enough, you'll be of no consequence to anyone or anything. I change it now. Because it's like the winter. Do I need to press? I almost committed a grave sin. I don't even know if I need to press again. Perhaps this is my punishment for it. Yes, it surely is. However, this sin can never be forgiven. Today I shall commit another sin. For it is something I must do. Winter late 1920s. She visited a small wayside shrine in the mountain, a byway off the path leading to the main shrine, and brought her to this place. Normally it was forbidden to tread upon this holy ground, and yet she had violated that taboo all the same. However, she hadn't done so willingly, for she had been summoned there. Taught by whom remained a total mystery. The letter had simply been thrown through her window. All it would say was to come to this place. The handwriting had appeared feminine. She probably wouldn't have followed those instructions had they been writing in a man's hand. Thought people were having sex all over the place, auto hearing sticks. That didn't mean she would simply jump at the opportunity to engage in trysts with any old stranger. No, she got because she was curious who the sender was. The letter stationery had seemed rather elegant. There were only a select few inside who could have used something so opulent. It had to be someone from the Inagamis, the clan who ruled of Itogata, the Shikusas, the clan who ran the shrine, or the Kuroyas, the Sandman's doctors, and the considered the wayside shrine, the Kakure Ina, had been designated at the rendezvous point. Chikuasas weren't the most likely candidates. Come to think of it, they do have a daughter who's recently come of age. The ringing of a bell echoed across the mountain. Surprised, she looked around. No one's here. And yet the bell had rung out the same. No, wait. It was at that moment that she spotted the cave cordoned off by sacred rope. I thought I saw someone in there. She strained her eyes and studied the entrance. A short while afterward, she noticed something slinking in the dark. A person? It couldn't possibly have been a bear. Still, was that thing truly human? Before long, that figure, the oracle, clad in demon's mask, emerged as if bleeding out of the darkness. Huh? The- What the? This in the past, but is this something that Masaki did? I don't know. I unconsciously laughed as I loomed over the woman collapsing in snow. Finally, my revenge was finally nigh. No, not revenge. This was a ritual. A sublime divine ritual. I kicked the woman with my sandaled foot until she was faced up. She still showed no signs of coming to. She wasn't dead, still put to sleep with incense. Still, there wasn't much time until she woke up. In all honesty, I wanted to kill her while she was conscious, make her regret what she'd done and beg for her life in tears. But then, it wouldn't be the curse if I did. And the oracle exists as the avatar of the curse. I drew the knife I had it in my kimono sash. The blade gleamed under the moonlight. Oh, that's right. I was no longer the oracle. The oracle's dirk was no longer mine to use. Therefore, this was not the curse. Indeed, it was a result of my own personal hunger for revenge. I could forgive her for stealing from me, for what she'd stolen was mine, and mine alone. Hehehe. Rapture swept over me from head to toe. Not once I had a dream that liberation from the customs would bring about such bliss. If only he had known about this when he resigned himself to fate. No. If he had, then I... The girl simply stood by and watched. She took in everything her beloved Oracle did. The Oracle left, disturbed by the noise the girl had made. I'll have to apologize for picking later. But it's alright, I know the Oracle will forgive me. The girl convinced herself of that she emerged from behind a tree. What? That's confusing as fuck. What the hell happened in there? Is that Masaki that was going to kill someone and someone saw it? I don't know. Years later. I'm gonna be honest, that part is confusing. Probably if you have done censor, it's better to understand. Satsuki rested. Oh my god, that was so fast. What? She couldn't sleep. Hey, who the fuck is this? She addressed the doll she had in her arms. Why are they so fast? What is it? Satsuki's voice answered back. It's freezing tonight, isn't it? Yes, it certainly is. This sort of trial exchange frequently. You can't even read that. The handmade doll limbs dangle simply. You're going outside tomorrow, right? Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Satsuki smiled. I cannot. What's in store for me? I know exactly what you mean. Who? Is Satsuki the doll or what? Satsuki raised the doll's arms. No, so Satsuki is someone in there. I'll have to get new sandals. Why do you need them? Customized. I can't read that. Is that right? She lifted the doll's head and made it nod. Oh my god. I don't know, something about the wrong step in there. Good point. Satsuki set the doll by her pillow. What's wrong? Looks like I'm getting sleepy. It was extremely late, but they didn't have a clock. Time for bed. Satsuki laid covers over the doll as well. Good night. So there was no clock, but she knew it was getting late. And with that, Satsuki closed her eyes. What the fuck was that speed? But what is that part? He laid down his pen and stretched out his limbs. His bones were hacking all over due to the long hours spent on that chair, but now he'll finally reach a good stopping point. All that remained was to proofread it and make it as similar as possible. A stack of manuscript papers sat on the desk in front of him. It was a godsend that you'll acquire the idea for this story. Thanks to that, you'll finally finish writing the novel you'll earnestly desired to write for years and years. He picked up a crisp piece of paper sitting next to him. It was his own personal Bible, the compass that will guide him in spinning that tale. Well, that done, the girl in the bed. Her flowing back hair hung out like a carpet. Several IV tubes were attached to her neck. So was that the tale that this guy was writing? It's so hard to understand. Crying. The newly born life Al brought into this world was crying. Oh, thank goodness. What a relief. I'm so glad you are healthy. Not that there will be much doubt, considering this shall also add his blood, the blood of the man who meant so much to me. Thank you for being born. Please live a long, happy life for the both of us. I didn't have much time left. I couldn't even hold my newborn child. I couldn't even tell anyone how I felt in this moment. And so I submitted myself to the sleep, dragging me into its clutch. And all the while praying that my next awakening will be in his arms. Could that be like the kid, the baby Yuki? I don't even know. I don't know if with the patch it makes more sense to stuff or what. It's so hard to understand. Even on the first one was like that. There were some parts that it was hard to understand what was happening. It was on 2020 that second episode came out. I wonder. I know the game is old, but I don't know how old. But in this one, they don't make the reference of the. They make the reference of the shelf about that book, but they don't talk much about that. The eggshell like in the first one. Probably until for now. I know in the first one it's like there were murders and stuff like that, and then it's like the girl that it appears on school, but still there is some connection for this one. But this one is about this girl that appears, Yukiko. Oh, it's a doll. It's a mannequin. Anti-Purgatorio. Shards of Purgatory. Okay. Still December 5? Okay. Sure. He trudged away from the south entrance until he arrived at Inokashira Park. The park was as silent as a tomb. Isn't this still the same? Meanwhile, the reflection of the street lights sway in the pond. What a beautiful sight. Yeah, this is still the same thing. Use it to draw, even the... He lumbered over to the base of one of the trees. There you go. The carpet of snow crunchy beneath his feet with each step. He touched the park as soon as he arrived at his destination. He almost felt like he could hear the immobile plant's heartbeat the same. So saying about bodies being buried below the cherry trees. For soon enough you will be no closer to anyone. Light shimmered off the blade. It was a cold, pale gleam that lacked even slightest hint of warmth. Finally took one last look around. No one's here. There wasn't a single soul inside, despite the park's close vicinity to the local residential and shopping districts. This is it. I'll never get a better chance than this. I like they repeated a little bit of the dialogue in that part. Welcome to the world of Purgatorio. One sheep. Oh, not one sheep. Oh my god, he's counting to fall asleep. 2 sheep. 3 sheep. 3 sheep. 4. It's like it's insane that the game only like let's say starts only now. It's like Jesus Christ. Excuse me, where exactly am I? It's like that's insane. You can say like that part is like the prologue of the game for you to understand a little bit, but it's so confusing. First, you must conquer 6 trials. Okay, what the fuck is this now? The shipman guided the wooden girl. Oh my god. Not the shipman. The fuck is that? Medical tools. Please choose whichever you desire. May she know peace everlasting. Satsuki and Miki. A farewell. So this is that part of the baby. Production copyright Gungnir. Oh no. A banner of ye who enter here. So this guy is the one that goes to Purgatorio. It's like, whoa. What? There was a girl named Tokokuchiki. Okay, this one was from the first one, I remember. Because this was like the park. I remember that. She and I, Heishi Tokisaga, met just last year during the spring of 1956. This is the one that disappears. She came to me with a rather bizarre request, find my true self, I remember that. At first I dismissed it as a silly schoolgirl's prank, but the further I investigate the matter, the further I realized just how much more complicated the truth was than either of us could have possibly imagined. True. And while I was searching for answers, she got in an accident. Miraculously she pulled through, but a terrible price. But then she was kidnapped before she even had time to stabilize. All for the petty goal of squeezing money out of a wealthy family whose inheritance Toko had a claim to. The case itself was closed in a flash, however that didn't bring her back. For she was abducted once again by Shin Katsugaragi, a serial killer and author, before she could be rescued. After all, his trail went cold, with neither me nor the police finding hide or hair of them despite our best efforts. His psychiatrist, unbelieved instigator of his crimes, Makoto Hokuchiki, was arrested and interrogated, but those efforts bore no fruit either. I'll be searching for Toko for nearly 2 years now, using my free time between jobs to pursue her case. However, I didn't turn up any leads, leaving my time frozen in April of 1956. The Bluebird. Oh no, the white screen. Flashback. Pride. Still December 5, Jesus Christ. We don't move from December 5, we do not move now. I left my office in Shinjuku and took the Chuo line to Kichichochi. Once there I emerged from the sofa entrance and stopped by Inokashira Park. Eventually I took a seat on the bench near the pond. A waterfall that was just across the pond was resting its wings nearby. Oh yeah, she used to draw here too, didn't she? I opened the sketchbook I brought from my office. Within were Toko's drawings. The bodies templed by the edge of the pond, the cherry blossoms blooming in spring, a waterfall attempting to take flight, an antsy-looking girl. Heh. I chuckled as I took in those nostalgic sketches. The girl in this drawing was gone too. She'll be an affable individual and my sister's best friend. Just then I closed the sketchbook and rose to my feet. For the woman I'll be waiting on had finally shown up. Nice to see you again, Chizuru. She was Chizuru Kuchiki, Toko's foster mother. Good afternoon. I could tell from that less than cordial tone that she wasn't all that pleased to be here. Still, I was grateful to her for never missing a meeting with me. Please, have a seat. No thank you, I'm fine. Chizuru turned toward the bench only to hang and shake her head after spotting Toko's sketchbook. Well, if you insist. I take it there have been no updates? She spoke up before I even had the chance to say my piece. None. I shook my head. She was referring to the search for Toko. I've enlisted the help of Kanto police to root out suspicious individuals, but we have turned up to no leads as of yet. Haven't you done enough? Chizuru slowly shook her head. We both know that she couldn't possibly have lasted long in her condition, and honestly, I can't have you burdening yourself any further. I don't consider it a burden at all, never have. And besides, it's not like I'm looking for her because someone asked me to. You make a fair point. I suppose there is nothing I can say to stop you then. I'm afraid not. In that case, could you please stop giving me these updates? Are they just nuisance for you now? Chizuru didn't answer. She probably couldn't bring herself to admit, even if that truly was all she felt. I know better than anyone just how selfish I am. Her features ripened with guilt. And yet, despicable as it may be, I can't help but care more for my brother than Toko. Be that as it may, I'm going to continue looking for her. I admire your strength. Chizuru shook her head and picked up the sketchbook. She was the one who given it to me in the first place. You know, I was the one who recommended that she try her hand at art in earnest. Oh really? That was news to me. The thing is, I actually used to be an avid photographer myself. My brother even got me a camera as a present before the war. That long ago? Yes, I was sickly in those days, so I was sent off to a mountain with a clean air to recuperate. I took plenty of photographs during my stay too. So that's why you recommended Toko to take up drawing? Well, she did seem to enjoy drawing pictures, so I wanted to do something moderately for her, even if it wasn't much. Chizuru put down the sketchbook. Now, if you excuse me, I must be going. Right, stay safe. So she doesn't even care now if she's alive or not. It's like, it passed 2 years, just, I don't want to say fuck it, but, you know, she thinks she's like, the condition that Toko was, she's like, probably at this point she's dead. The sun had begun setting by the time I returned to Kichichochi station. It was still too early for dinner. Maybe I'll kill some time at Moonworld then. Moonworld was located a little ways into the shopping district by the station. I stepped through the front door after confirming that place was open. Welcome. My arrival was greeted by Kyoko Azuki, the owner. Hey there. You do know we are not serving alcohol yet, right, Tokisaka? Of course, how long do you think you have known each other? The place only functions as a bar after sunset. Could I get some coffee? Coming right up. Kyoko took a filter out of the water. In the meantime, I procured a cigarette and chopped down the end. Didn't you quit? Nah, I just don't smoke in the house anymore. I lit the cig up with my lighter. Trying to be a considerate big brother, are we? Kyoko slid an ashtray my way. Who's to say? I spilled those words out alongside some smoke. I see I don't merit the same courtesy, though. You insinuating something? I pinched the cigarette between my fingers and flipped it around. Want a drag? No, thank you. Yeah, I figured. Kyoko served me a steaming cup of joe. I stole out my cigarette in the ashtray. Next, I took a sip of the coffee. It was warm, bitter, and had a subtle fragrance to it. Not much of a crowd today. The two of us were the only ones in the moon world. Odd, considering this was the time of day I will expect to see people coming around for a pick me up. Just business as usual. It works out nice for me anyway, since I'm back to running the place all by myself again. She'll hired the daughter of a mutual acquaintance last year, but the girl had since moved on. Oh, really? That girl that came to work in here moved on? She's not working in here anymore? Okay. Weird. Besides, I got a regular tool. Way to pressure a guy. It wasn't like I spent much cash on this joint. Oh, just so you know, I'm not talking about you. The hell? No, I just felt stupid. I got a regular loaf of my roasted coffee beans. In fact, she's stopping by today, see? Kyoko pointed to what resembled a giant bag of flour. She'll be swinging by later to pick those up. Apparently she works at a nursery in Kogane. We are around the same age, so we become good friends. Does she drop in on the way back from work? I'm not quite sure, but probably. Then isn't she a little late? I thought nurseries closed before evening. Not always. From what she tells me, apparently many of the children's parents aren't done working until late, and she still has plenty to take care of after they all go home. Man, I could never work with the kids. Oh, but you played the part of a teacher just fine, didn't you? Played, being the operative word. Besides, they weren't kids, they were full-fledged adults more obedient than a military platoon. All taught students for an extremely brief period as a cover. Still, they were all good kids, weren't they? Kyoko nodded solemnly to herself. Yeah. Suddenly the door opened. Hey, why hello there, Fuyumi. Kyoko greeted the newcomer with a smile. You got my beans ready to go? Of course, here. Kyoko handed over the bag of beans. Oh, is that a customer? The woman Fuyumi snuck a peek at me, so the mother of Yukiku. Oh, just pretend the foster mother. Oh, just pretend he isn't around. Hello, I'm right here. I cut in with a droll chuckle. This is Fuyumi Kaihara, the hag I was telling you about. I work at the nursery. It's a pleasure to meet you. Likewise, I'm Heiji Tokisaka. Tokisaka? Oh, so this is the guy, huh? What guy? I shot Kyoko a probing glare. Don't give me that dirty look, I haven't been bad-mouthing you or anything, promise. Sure, that's real convincing when you can't even look me in the eye. Niskaya, was it? Tell me, what sorts of stories has Kyoko been feeding you? Don't worry about it, I'm sure good things will come to you if you wait long enough. If she'll be trying to take my mind off the subject with that nonsense, then she'll fail in the worst way possible. Hey Satsuki, can I have some coffee while I'm here? Of course, I'll just be a minute. Kyoko went straight to work. So, you are a detective, right? Yeah. It seemed Kyoko had given her a crash course on my background. Feel free to turn to me if you ever need help. Thanks, I'll take you up on that offer, if the opportunity ever presents itself. Fuyumi took a sip of coffee. I guess there's one thing you could do. Really? What's that? Well, you see, my nursery understaffed, so maybe you could lend us a hand? Please take your inquiry elsewhere. Of course. I went home after killing some time at Moon World. The house was pitch black, night had long since arrived, yet the lights were still off. Is Yukari not back yet? The phone rang right as I stepped inside. Oops, better get that. Hello? I picked it up the receiver while taking off my I forgot what the hell was there. It was jacket, I think. Alright, Yukari, what's wrong? Why are you calling? Could you get down to the hospital right away? Yukari interrupted me before I could finish. It sounded like she was crying. Thought it was hard to really make it out over the phone. There's nothing I can do, so... Wait, calm down, Yukari. What happened? I need you over here right now, Reiji. You are the only one who can help. Okay, I'll head straight there, so sit tight. Kuchiki Hospital, I take it? Yes, I'm sorry, but please hurry. I hung up. In the end, she hadn't told me what was shaking her up. A bad feeling wormed its way through my body. It reminded me of that day nearly 2 years ago. Damn it. I swiftly donned my jacket once again. Nakano was closer by car than train. Thus, I nailed my car keys over the phone and raced for the hospital. What the hell happened? Envy. Wham, wham, wham. Okay, a lot of whams. Tiny hands pressing the clay at the altar, leaving prints like maple leaves in mud. The wet lump of earth was glossy and glimmered in the candlelight. Wham, wham, wham. The work was more akin to simply pounding than kneading. She'd been at it for hours now, all without uttering so much as a word. 6 identical altars stood around her. All 7 were consecrated with identical cloths. The soil had been amassed from 7 graveyards across the settlement. It had been custom since ages past. A new stand was prepared for her once her task was done. Small hands scooped up clay from 7 altars, then set it atop the new altar. Afterward, she soaked the pile of earth with some water from a ladle, then began kneading once more. She mixed the soil and continued until it was firm enough. The candles flickered. Thought the snow wasn't blowing in, the winter breeze was still cold. Her tiny fingertips grew red and cold, turning number by the second. But even so, she couldn't afford to stop. After all, she knew exactly how important this ritual was. The clay absorbed the water and became nice and firm. She then took the earth into her hands and rolled it to a ball. She set it atop the remaining soil on the altar, procured a piece of paper out of her kimono, and held it on her mouth. A small 21 to 21 centimeters Palowinian box sat next to the altar. With that settled, she closed the lid. Moments later, she rose to her feet, her work done. However, she lurched and stumbled a few steps. Forth, she managed to maintain her balance, reverently cradling the box all the while. She ventured outside. There, she slowly set foot on the earth without any footwear. The combination of snow and the night breeze chilled her to the very core. With white breaths escaped her lips as she plodded down the road to the shrine. The stone path had been thoroughly cleaned, down to the tiniest speck of snow. However, the ground was still cold as ice. Her gait was slow and deliberate, so she would not trip. Candles served as her guide forward. Up ahead was an area demarcated by a sacred branch of a sacred tree meant as offerings to the gods. One of the stones in their midst had been removed. She bowed and kneeled before it. A gaping hole had been dug beneath the missing stone. The altars from before were lying there. She held the box aloft and bowed her head before setting it into the hole. After offering a prayer, she scooped dirt off the altars and poured it around the box. Her work was throughout so as not to leave any gaps. She filled the hole, oozing out the dirt from the altars. Eventually the job was finished, the box completely submerged under the dirt. 2 adults bordering her lifted the missing flat tile of stone and lowered it. The stone was returned precisely to its rightful place, and after prostrating herself before it, she rose to her feet. She suffered no vertigo this time. She bowed twice, clapped twice, and bowed one more time as per worshipping tradition before turning around. The oracle slowly passed between the adults flanking her and disappeared amidst the dancing flakes of snow. The tale now turns to a story from before the war. The setting was a snowy settlement in the mountains, back during the season when cold wind blew in from the Sea of Japan. But through the air was literally bone-chilling. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, fortunately enough. Or perhaps that was bad luck, given how such weather only served to make the day even colder. Naori Kuroya ruminated over that quadrant as he made his way home. His settlement, known as Itogata, was located in the mountain range that made up the border between the prefectures of Toyama and Gifu. The residents eked out the meager living through agriculture and sericulture. Snow soaked into his shoes even when he passed through Mahina, the most traveled part of the settlement. Thought that said no cars ever came through Itogata, so residents only ever remove as much snow as necessary for their own daily activities. Naori literally followed in his friend's footsteps. As the oldest of the group, he was responsible for watching over them. So this now is like years before the war. Like when you are playing is after the war. This is before the war now that you are seeing. I don't know for what, but probably it's for what else was happening in that part. I don't even know. Slow down or you'll slip into a ditch, Ritu. The irrigation ditch that carried water to the paddy fields were currently buried under heaps of snow. An old man living in Idarihina had fallen into one just a day ago and had to be brought to the Kuryoye clinic, which also served as Naori's home. Hey, I'll be fine now, no need to worry. The boy marching ahead that you'll call to Ayato Inagami turned around and faced him. That's rich coming from the guy who fell off his roof trying to clear the snow just the other day. No thanks to a certain someone throwing a snowball at me, of course. Your fault for not hearing me shout your name a million times. Now he raised his legs and kicked a huge wave of snow at Ayato like a soccer player trying to score from over halfway across the field. Ah! Let me out. There's voice. There was more voice. There was voice for Toji, couldn't even hear. Ayato leaped out of the way of the incoming rush of snow. That only encouraged Naori to chase after him. Seriously? But someone grabbed his sleeve before he could. A look behind him revealing to be a girl covered in snow shooting him a very dirty glare. Oops, sorry young mistress. The girl was Yu Futami, granddaughter and future successor to the owner of the Futami Inn. Thought she merely helped around at the inn from time being due to her age, her mature personality and manner of speech already granted her the dignity she needed to play the part. At least have the courtesy to only eat Riito, leave Ohina and Kuriku out of this. Hold on, so I'm fair game? Oh, I trust you can dodge whatever now dish out. So what, are you saying Ohina and Kuriku are totally slow, coach? Ohina referred to Karen, Ayato's twin sister, and the other one... Hey, my reflection are perfectly fine, thank you very much, was Meguri Takamiya or Kuriku to her friends. Kuriku, I'll be fine, she can run 300 meters without stopping. No, I can't, that will mess up my shoes. Well, getting snow all over your clothes will be even worse, yeah? The two fashion-conscious friends nodded at each other. Karen, what is it, Ayat? A snowball welted Karen. Ayat, you're gonna get it now. There's even more voice. Karen hunched down and rolled a snowball as her cheeks inflated with indignation. However, Ayato simply seized the chance to flee. I suppose I can always count on them to bring the energy. You heaved an exasperated sigh of white steam right next to Naori. The settlement police station was located in an area called Mahina, which was the entrance to Itogata. It was the one and only station of its kind in the settlement. However, the building was tiny and only housed a single officer, Shinobu Takayama, as Itogata local himself. Thought the country was in the midst of the second Sino-Japanese War. This matter was generally relaxed due to the absence of military police and nearby military facilities in the area. No real crimes had occurred since Takayama had returned to the settlement as a policeman. The most excitement he ever got was stuff like breaking up escalating fights between senior citizens that would have been one of them swinging a knife around or settling farmers' border disputes. But the grand majority of his work consisted of patrolling the settlement and upholding order. Today was chilly, however, which was why he parked himself in the front of the station old stove since the morning and kept watch to ensure the building didn't burst into flames. I'm freezing my nuts off in here. Takayama bleated as he hovered his hands above the stove and rubbed them together from time to time. Steam was rising from the dented kettle resting atop the stove. He would have lowered to heat some sack and have a shot to warm himself from the inside out. Unfortunately, he was on the clock and all, so he resisted the urge. Instead, he poured hot water into the teapot and brewed some tea. Damn, that's smart. But ironically, the cup was now too hot for his freezing hands. He pinched his earlobes to cool his scorching fingers. Afterward, he took a sip of scalding tea. Ah, peace and quiet, not to mention boredom. Takayama played around with an orange gifted to him by an old lady in the neighborhood. He knew he could always go on patrol for a change in pace, but that sounded like far too much of a hassle. He didn't want to break a sweat again after all the sins he would provide over the last few days in the way of sweeping snow, if he could help it, shoveling the snow on the stone stairs to Shikusa's shrine in Atohina had been particularly grueling. Still, just having Saya, the chief priest's daughter, thank him had been all the reward you'll need. Suddenly, the door opened. Buh, I'm freezing. You have only got yourself to blame, I had. Now warning you to slow down. A group of students led by a boy covered in snow, I had to file into the station. What the? Hey, you kids, can't... Is there a voice? There is. Nice to see you. Oh, thanks, you too. Wait, don't change subject. Good afternoon. The students had crowded the already cramped station before Takayama even had time to stop them. Growing icicles on your chin again today, Mr. Takayama? You kids, I swear, what do you think this is, a playground? Takayama grumbled and tried to sit back down, only to realize his chair had been stolen. And so he reluctantly leaned against the wall instead. His basket of orange had emptied in a flash. Can't you kids mingle at the branch office instead? It's literally next door. We tried, but old man Saizu kept making a fuss. Ayato didn't sound the least bit ashamed. Yeah, sounds about right. Guy loved raising hell even back when I was a brat. That's cause Mr. Cookie and old misters have the clout to get away with it. You say that, but Ohina's family stands far above my grandmother. The Inagamis are on an entirely different level. Takayama glanced at the two scions of the Inagami family, Ayato and Karen. The Inagamis were the clan that had ruled this region, Itogata village, since ages past, and over the last few decades they will expand their influence to a startling degree. While their authority will normally have waned with time as they stayed as mere leaders of a rural settlement in the middle of nowhere, they will recently establish a pharmaceutical company that brought prosperity to the village. Takayama himself had been raised by his deceased parents to show the Inagamis respect. Hey Karen, don't you think the orange is way too huge? No, not really. Why, wanna trade? Thought it seemed their inheritors hadn't the slightest idea just how much weight their family name held. By the way, now, when are you gonna take us to that secret base you mentioned? Ixnay on the Ektrasei Asebay Dolt. Huh? What's this secret about the secret base? Naoya's countenance contorted bashfully. Well, the thing is, I made a secret hiding spot in the mountains. Oh yeah? Well, I can see why. Boys your age love to do stuff like that. Takayama was no different, having modified his family shed to build a private space for himself as a kid. Thought his father had yelled to his ear off once the truth came out naturally. Just don't use it for anything dangerous. Don't worry, my father will kill me if I do. Naoya's father, Yuzuru, had originally been a member of the Inagami family before marrying into the Koroya family. In other words, the Koroya name also held a lot of water in the area. And not like I could ever see you kids trying to cause some serious trouble anyway. I'm flattered to hear it. Naoya smiled. Especially because you'll get conscripted the moment you got kicked out of this village, seeing how we could be at war with the West any day now. Takayama tried slipping in a little warning. No one with a criminal record can be recruited. The Ichig wouldn't dare permit such mud being slung on its name. However, Naori deflected with finesse. I know that, I just don't want ruffians like that selling the village. Besides, I've heard that no one's actually been conscripted from here despite all the physicals we take. Hey, watch your mouth. Oh, really? Takayama tried to bury its subject right then and there, but I had to urge Naori to continue before he could. At least from what I heard, could be wrong for all I know. But Naori's response was ambiguous. I thought you'll realize what Takayama had been getting at. Anyway, just focus on your studies and you'll be both fine. You have nothing to worry about on that front, I guarantee it. Naori's kind of the rest of his friends. So, you're really gonna study to be a doctor, huh? Not like I got much of a choice, being the heir of the family and all. Naori shrugged and took an orange. All best getting home. Out to study? We could always just do that here instead, you know. You stood in front of the stove and opened one of her textbooks. Nah, I work better in my own room. I can see the logic in that. Oh, Hina, Kuriko, let's head home. You interrupted the two girls chatting away like there was no tomorrow. Already? You two can discuss fashion whenever you want, right? Well, yeah, but aren't you interested? Not particularly, no. I hardly see the point of dressing up here in the countryside. Well, what else are we supposed to do for fun? Karen nodded approvingly. Come on, I can feel you all in off all Tokyo's latest trends. My father brings fashion magazines back from his business trips. I'll much prefer a literary magazine. So are you kids going or Takayama exasperatedly gestures toward the door. Yeah, we are leaving. Come on, Karen, hurry up. I know. The students head for the door one by one. See you next time, Mr. Takayama. Don't come back unless you have an actual problem, got it? I doubt you'll be getting any visits along those lines. Nothing ever happens around here. Fine by me, I'd rather be bored than working. Now get yourselves home already, you lot. Takayama finally claimed his spot in front of the stove now that he would shoot the students out. Unfortunately, all his orange were gone. No food for you. The girl wandered the snowy streets all by her lonesome. Okay, she'll stop and take a look around. There was a building with a sign read Itogata branch office, neighboring a police station. However, the girl was hesitant to approach either location. It was like she done anything wrong. She was just a young and scared of stepping into a place where hordes of adults got together. That was accentuated by the fact she rarely spoke to others. All she wanted was to go outside for a bit, yet here she was, overwhelmed. The girl could see a building in the distance. She would walk all the way from there on her own. Even now, she was still trying to convince herself she wasn't dreaming. What do I do? Oh, this is Satsuki, that one with that doll. The girl Satsuki heaved white steam with a sigh. Her feet had grown benumbed from the cold. Thought it wasn't so bad that she couldn't walk. Her thin socks were still moist, her toes burned with pain, and she felt numb in general. She couldn't even crouch, since she was concerned she'll get the hem of her kimono wet if she did. But just as she was considering taking shelter indoors, huh? A voice echoed out from behind her. What? Satsuki turned around. Standing there was a boy about her age. Who are you? Uh, Satsuki was so flustered that she simply stared off into space. She didn't know how she was supposed to respond in situations like this. Are you the one who's visiting Shingusa's shrine? Another boy of roughly the same age suddenly cut in. Now, what's this about the visit? Hold on, you still don't know? I figured that Inagami will be far more informed on the subject. This is all news to me. The boys converse in front of Satsuki. I'm trying to get back to the shrine, but I've lost my way, so Satsuki nervously explained her plight. It's straight down this street and up the stairs, but the journey could be tricky in that outfit. Your feet are freezing, aren't they? Yes. He to give her a piggy bank right there. Huh? Satsuki yelped and looked at the boy called Hito. Why me? Because it is the duty of all Japanese men, big and small alike, to protect frail young maidens. Satsuki sensed a hint of ragging in his tone. I mean, yeah, but still. It's okay, I can walk by myself. She didn't want to cause them any trouble. However, just as she was about to leave, she tripped and went careening toward the ground. Look out! Snow danced off the street. Hey, are you alright? The older boy looked down at Satsuki and the younger boy, shaking his head with a sigh. Yes. Thought she had fallen right on her backside. Satsuki managed to muster a nod. Great. Will you mind getting up then? You're going to turn Hito into a pancake. Well, oh my gosh. The younger boy was squashed right under Satsuki. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. It's okay. The boy awkwardly got up and wiped snow off himself. Isn't it nice, Hito? You are living every Japanese man's dream. The older boy laughed. Oh, now that is the voice of Satsuki. Put the sock in it, will you? Climb on. The boy crouched down and offered his back to Satsuki. Careful, Tom. Might still be a little damp back there. The boy clumsily urged her on. It was then Satsuki realized that he was offering her a piggyback ride. But Go on, don't be shy. It's not every day you get a taxi service here in Itogata. Alright then, thank you. She placed her hands on the boy's shoulders and leaned against his back. It wasn't wet at all. And up we go. The boy slowly rose to his feet. He seemed surprisingly strong despite his scrawny build. I'm really sorry about all of this, Hiito. Ayato. Huh? My name is Ayato Inagami. Hiito is just my nickname. And that guy over there is Naori Kuroya. My name is Satsuki. Is that a fact? Alright then. How does Sati sound? Huh? Satsuki blinked in confusion. Really now? Don't you think it's a little too soon to give her a nickname? You guys only just met. It was only after hearing those words that she realized it was her own nickname. Hey, it's never too soon to make someone feel welcome. Don't you agree, Sati? Yes, I suppose. Satsuki nodded. Thought admittedly she was still struggling to process everything. This was the first time she will ever been given a nickname. Well, guess it's fine as long as you are good with it. Okay, let's go. Aya took off. Satsuki held on for dear life. His warmth seeped right into her. You're kinda choking me a little. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now I chuckled from the rear. They walked down a road clear of snow and arrived at the center of the settlement, and I call it Kamihina. Hey, too, I can walk myself now, so. Satsuki spoke up once they reached a crossroads. No need to force yourself. I can keep going, really. I had to say that despite panting up clouds of steam. Nah, I think she's got the right idea. Even a grown man will struggle with these stairs. Now I looked up ahead. Before them was a stone stairway to a building resting near the top of the mountain, Shikusa's shrine. Or what, are you just looking for an excuse to keep cuddling with Sati? Well, of course not. I had to crouch it down. Thank you so much. Satsuki hastily got off of him and straightened out her kimono. Phew, I had stretched as far as his body would allow. Is this your first time visiting the village, Sati? Yes. Then let me give you a little rundown. First of all, this place here is called Kamihina, and it's the center of the settlement. Naori threw his arm out. The Koroya clinic, that's where I live, is right over there, so feel free to drop by if you ever under the weather. I live in Idarihina myself. It's a little bit further from here. Idarihina? Satsuki looked to her left. Oh no, that's Migihina. We just came from Maihina and the shrines in Atohina. Jesus Christ, what the hell is these names? So you have to think of yourself as facing the village entrance. I had to turn Satsuki around as he said that. Oh, now you're facing the correct way. Anyway, my house is over to the left. I see. Most people live in Idarihina, Migihina, and Kamihina, while Maihina has the Hin Town Hall branch office and police station. Anyway, are you ready to keep going? I had to begin descending the stone stairs. It was a steep slope, so the snow had been thoroughly cleared off the stairway, leaving little to none behind. Still, it was long, making it a narrow strip either way. Mr. Takeyama, the local police officer, is always shoveling snow here. I had to assume the explanation. He really puts his back into the job too, probably because he has a crush on Saya. Oh, really? Now that was a familiar name, Saya Shikusa, the woman who had been taking care of Satsuki ever since she would arrive. Thought you'll play dumb if you call him out on it. Naori smirked. I think he has an image to maintain, so he probably claims it's for old man Shikusa instead. I had to nod. Not like the old timer leaves the shrine though. My grandpa has to come all the way up here just to give the guy his checkups. I see. Satsuki just nodded politely, not following much of the conversation. How long are you staying here? It was Ayatu who came forth with a question this time. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm not quite sure myself. Satsuki shook her head. She didn't have an authority to decide how long she could remain here after all. Sure, it would be nice if she could stay until the festival in March, eh? Rito. Yeah. What festival? There's a festival on March 3rd where we welcome the Oracle at the shrine. Everyone spends all of January and February just getting ready for it. Really? Your ignorance started to scare me, Rito. It looked like the wind had been knocked off Naori's sails. Well, Grandma and Grandpa handled all of that themselves, so I never gave it too much thought. Oh, we are here. I had to reach to the top of the stairs. A giant shrine archway loomed tall over him. Thank you so much for showing me the way, Satsuki bowed. Hey, we did nothing for this last leg, that was all you. You didn't do anything period now. I had to pout it. Satsuki found herself smiling. You two are good friends, aren't you? Well, there are exactly a lot of other guys our age around here. Thought we do mix and mingle with some other friends too. Oh, I know. Why don't we introduce you to them? Huh? Some of them are gossiping hands, so I'm sure you'll feel much more at home having some female friends you could talk to. I see, but I don't know if I could. I never had friends before, you see. I doubt that will be a problem. In any case, we'll have to save that talk for next time. Look up ahead. It seems someone's been expecting you. Naori turned to the shrine. A man and a woman emerged from the office adjacent to the shrine proper. They were Kensei, the senior priest, and his wife Mia. Kensei, Mia, pleasure to see you both. Naori greeted them both right off the bat, but I had to quickly following suit. Did you bring Satsuki with you? Yes. I'm so sorry I didn't tell anyone I was going on a walk. Satsuki hung her head like a scolded dog. It's alright, really. Honestly, I was just thinking it was about time you introduced yourself to the village. Did you say you're a loss? Yes, well, to the two of them at least. Speaking of which, I heard that Satsuki's a guest. You heard right. We'll be sending her over to the Inagami for a visit in the near future. So you could let your grandfather know, Ayato? Yes, of course, Ayato nodded. Satsuki, Sai is waiting for you. Alright. Satsuki nodded before facing the boys once more. I'm terribly sorry for all the trouble I caused you. She bowed deeply. Oh no, no trouble at all, really. Come mingle with us next chance you get. The boys went back downstairs. Now then, Kensei turned to Mia. Could you draw a footpath, Mia? It won't do her any good to have chapped feet now. Already are. Right this way, Satsuki. I'm so sorry for your inconvenience. Alright. So, hope you guys enjoy your gameplay of uh, the Shell Part 2 Purgatorio. Like, if you play the first one, you you want to play the second one, right? Because it continues to understand more the story of what's happening. Of course, then if you want again to get the full content of the game, you need to go to Shirofone website, click the game, and then on the right there is something that says get on Steam and get on Sharon website. You need to click on Sharon website, and it leads to the patch that you download for free, of course, and apply to the game on Steam, and you get the full content. Of course, this game is not about all those sexy parts because it's about the I think it has something about to do of gore, things like that too that the game can have and uncensored that cannot pass. It cannot pass. It could pass, but it's not because it's all the characters probably are displayed that they don't put. So yeah, it's not all about sexiness. It's about of how the characters are dead and stuff like that that they remove it too on the game. So, but yeah, if you like this type of games, visual novels, you can buy Array on Steam. It's like close to 20 euros. It's 19 and something. It's 19 euros and something cents. And then you can always get the uncensored patch from Shirofone website and apply. So, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.